It's just as easy as 1, 2, 3. You have to open your mind. Imagination is all you need. Don't take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain. Everything is relative to you. You just have to say it in generalities. Just like those straight lines are curving. Drive down the road, don't you ever swerve. And I don't know where all of this goes. Never take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they do is in vain. I know the game that you're playing, and I know exactly what's on your mind. You got your playbook, it's alright. Your model dictates what you will find. And I don't know where all of this goes. Don't take advice from fools. 'Cause everything that they say is in vain. Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
You've done the presentation.
It's
Right.
really flat and level now.
Now, are you going to carry on, or do you want us to give us like an opinion of what you like? Because I still don't understand what it is that you were doing with that presentation.
Yeah, can I perhaps be better if I start off by explaining
Yeah.
and putting into context what I was actually doing?
Absolutely.
I think that would be... So I'll share the screen.
Oh, wait a minute.
You can see that nice and large, okay?
Just a minute.
By the way, Bebby, there's a lot of background noise on your.
That's his mic. It was like that last time. I think he's using a laptop one because it sounds like you've got an old laptop with a fan blowing.
Mic.
Is that better?
It's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so.
It's still there in the background.
Still
Logic.
there.
Nice. You've changed it. Your name. It was Flat Earth Logic, wasn't it?
I don't think it was, but doesn't matter. Anyway, so can you roughly hear me okay, or shall I change?
Yeah,
I
no,
can
no,
change-
that's fine. Like we can live through it. It's just that there's a fan noise.
It must be my laptop fan.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't have a mic, I'm just using the laptop.
Yeah.
So, you showed this, I sent you 2 slides, didn't I?
Yes.
The other day. And this is one of them. The purpose of that was simply to pick on an argument. Doesn't have to be anyone's argument, which concludes, and the key step is step 5, all vertical lines are parallel to one another, and to prove that. And the point was to show what I was explaining to the group there at Bob's place was concept of validity. So you take some assumptions, which can be any assumptions you like, and those can be true or false. And I think the first thing you seized on, you said, assumption 1 is false. Doesn't matter. These are just assumptions. Where you see, so if you see a brackets A, that means it's an assumption. And this is just a standard way that logicians do
Am
it.
I seeing the right screen here? I've just got
You're seeing
logic
it
in the
says-
shape of the Earth, Bebby's logic. December
No.
2021, that's the only thing I'm seeing.
Right, so you're not seeing the screen that I'm sharing a window.
What is everybody else seeing? So,
Yeah, let me start again. So why the hell? Let's stop sharing. And let's
It
start.
just got stuck, I think, that was all.
Sometimes does that, doesn't it?
There we go.
And you're
The
seeing the argument, the horizon is a plane, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you now seeing it full screen?
yes.
Yeah.
Right, but
So let me
just
start.
before you go on, like when we have a proof for proof challenge, that proof is one proof for another proof, and then we can progress, right? That's the idea of it. From first principles, basic.
I didn't understand that, and I still don't understand it. So you'll give a proof, yes?
Yeah.
Logical form.
From first principles, yes.
From first principles. Then, I mean, what I do, I just sort of look at proof. I look at an argument. We don't call them proofs. We look at an argument and say, well, are the premises true, and is it a valid argument? That's all. Let me just flip back a bit.
Well,
So
before we start, like you're talking about the logic, right? Well,
I am talking about logic. Yes.
we're talking about proof, and that proof ends up with starts off with the statement of what you're going to prove. Then, however the method you choose to get there, at the end you say, there you go, I have proved X, right? Because you state, I am going to prove X. And at the end is, I have therefore proved X. Now, if you can't pass that on, however, that we call that not a proof. But if other people can say, yeah, that works, everything, like linked to reality, not just the logic part of it, like everything.
Yeah, I just do the logic part of it. So
Yeah.
if you're not interested in that, then I'll.
Well, like I say,
will.
you start off with an assumption. Like, what is it that you are proving? You're stating that you are going to prove the surface of the Earth is not a sphere.
Yeah, what's the problem there? That is, let's leave it proposition 5, because proposition 6 is a difficult one actually to get from there. But let's stop at what we want to prove. What this argument is going to prove, and that follows from its logical form, is that all vertical lines are parallel to one another. So if you see a brackets A, that's identifying that proposition as an assumption. If you see brackets 1, 2 or something like that with the numbers, we're saying, in this case, proposition 3 follows from proposition 1 and proposition 2, both of which are assumptions. So that's how it works. That's how logicians typically set out a proof or an argument. So what is to be proved is either step 5 or step 6. Step 5 will do. Does that make sense?
Well, what I'm seeing there is you've got two assumptions and then a third statement that is
No, you've
based
got
upon
three-
the two assumptions before it.
Correct. So
And then
proposition 3,
all you've done is then said, there's another assumption, and I'm going to assume that the one of the assumptions that's based upon the two assumptions previously, you're just
Yes.
adding assumptions together.
Correct. That's what an argument is.
Right. So where's the
argument-
proof?
Right. Where is the argument? You mean? Yeah.
No, where's the proof? It's a proof for proof challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's say an argument is a proof. It's not quite the same thing. A proof is not quite the same thing as an argument. Logicians deal with arguments.
Mm-hmm. Like I say,
And
I don't think you've been around here that long.
Yeah?
Because
Sorry?
you've not been around that long. And you're trying to start off with... you're using the word perpendicular. People will be upset with that, right? So you'd have to prove perpendicular before you can go to proving that all verticals are parallel, right?
The word perpendicular occurs in the assumption, so we don't imagine it means anything you like.
No, I mean, you can assume in this arena as much as you want. You will get no favours from anyone. What we're after is proof. Proof of everything from first principles.
What do you... I deal with arguments which are sets of premises, yeah? You have the premises of the argument and you have the conclusion. Let me just step back, right? Logic is not about thinking, but about how we express our thoughts in words, right? So logic, from the Greek logos, which means words, language, talk, speech, discourse, conversation.
Yep.
We agree with
Exactly.
that. So we're not talking about thinking, we're talking about how we express our thoughts in words.
Yes.
Lukasiewicz, great Polish logician, I'm sure you know all about him, because you're a logician, yeah?
Go on. I just deal in logic, so you carry on.
Just deal in logic.
Yep. Just
But you must know
natural logic.
Let me just make some notes. So you're saying that logic and natural logic...
No, I'm saying me, personally, I just deal in logic, right? Now, you're going to go on about the process and the assumptions and all of that, right? We're in an arena. Imagine you've come somewhere because somebody has said to you, you're a child abuser because you teach your son that level is horizontal, right? And you've come in to find out, well, one, what sort of a person would say something so fucking stupid as that, right? Because that's obviously a bit overboard. And two, it's you're the sort of person that would want to disprove that statement. But how do you prove that level is horizontal? That's the thing. So when you come in and you start talking to people about things, and they say that the force of whatever they're talking about, I call it vertical because a plumb bob hangs vertical, right? So that's vertical. Can that be proved? You know, like this my process in my brain's going. This is what I'm doing. So where do you start in your proof, personal proof for yourself, to be able to prove that level is horizontal? How do you get there? So you have to go first principles, break it down to the simplest.
I was about to sort of see if we can establish some sort of common principles we can agree on.
Yeah, first principles.
Lukasiewicz, it's not the object of logic to investigate how we are thinking or how we ought to think. Logic has no more to do with thinking than mathematics has. And then he says,
same thing.
Modern formal logic strives to attain the greatest possible exactness by means of stable, visually perceptible science. So what he's saying is that in order to do logic at all, you have to set out your argument. You have to set out the premises. You have to clearly identify what are assumptions as against what has been derived from the initial assumptions. You can't do logic without that. If you don't want to do that, then there's no point in continuing the discourse.
Well, I'll say, let's go back to first principles and find out what is the first thing that you could prove to yourself. In a basic sense. Base sense.
Well, now you sort of drifted onto scientific method and what a
No,
proof is, and
no.
that's why I insist that
No, what?
if we understand what
Can
an
you
argument
prove a
is,
straight line?
we're interrupting here.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get you down to the basics.
No, I'm trying to get down to the basics by explaining what logic is and what it can do and what it can't
Well,
do. So
I'm talking about proof.
I'm going to the basics. Yeah.
So logic
I'm
would
trying
be
to explain,
to
I'm
start
trying
at the
to
base.
explain what logic is. Sorry, I'm shouting.
No, you're not. You've never
Okay.
obviously heard Jem Pandas.
Try and sort of continue. If you don't understand the difference between, if you don't understand what an argument is, forget proof for the moment, because proof is subsequent to argument. If you don't
Proof
understand
is
what
what
an argument
remains
is,
at the end of a validity statement, right? That's the truth that
Sorry,
remains at the end. Proof.
what is a validity statement? Can you clarify that?
It's whenever you try and make a statement at the beginning that is either true or false, when you end up with the conclusion, it is either true or false. You are establishing the validity of the initial statement that you're making.
That's not what validity is. At least not as
Okay,
logicians
well, it is to me.
understand it.
So you ask me what it was, and did I express it to you? Like, you
so-
want to change the names of whatever you want, right? Do that.
I'm not changing.
Good.
I'm not changing any names. I studied logic. I have
Okay. But what we're trying to do
I have
here is
I have a doctoral degree
basic
in this
logic.
subject.
Yes,
I mean,
basic.
don't
Go
say I'm
right back to the simplest thing, the first bit that somebody would have ever used for logic. Start there.
sorry. I don't understand where.
Start at the very
Start.
beginning. Is always
Very
the best
beginning.
place. Not don't mention other dudes that have said something that you've took on. Right?
Right. So when I studied logic, and when I've written stuff about it and published papers on it, this is not what you call logic. Is that right?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. You keep talking about other people. You're talking
haven't
about
got- you
their
haven't got a-
logic, are you? Or are
You
you
haven't
gonna?
got a clue. You haven't got a clue.
I'm trying to establish your logic. I'm trying to show you
My
where
logic.
we are coming from within this proof for proof challenge that we've been doing. You keep it,
It is not-
diverting
is
into
not-
whatever you're doing. Well, that's not what we're doing.
Right. So I've no idea what you're doing. I was just you use the word logic.
Okay, right. Let me
There's a
start
well-defined-
again then.
well-
Seeing as we start at the beginning, you came in here because you said you'd been triggered in by somebody from a Brian's Logic video, right? Then you came in here, talked about the sextant, and then went over to, his place, right? Now, forget about the fact that he's trying to shut down this channel for any type of engagement and me saying his name. Forget about that. So you've gone over there, and then you start a logic thing. You didn't talk anything about logic when you were here, apart from saying that you were a logic. And then you make like a strange flat earth logic statement and issue a proof for proof challenge, which sounds very similar to ours, but you're not understanding what our proof for proof is. And you're coming and just dumping your rules for what it is onto us. Now, I know you understand logic, but you don't understand the argument that we're in at the minute and the initial idea of what we are doing. The idea is to prove that level is horizontal. Now, in order to do that, you have to be able to prove every step of the way, because the people we are dealing with in this arena are pretty anal, and they will not accept anything from someone they have deemed a flat earther. Now, I'm not a flat earther. I'm coming at this from basic logic, real simple stuff. I want as many people that don't understand anything about logic, because it has been dismissed, right? It's been taken out of the academia, and taken out of the education system. Wrongly, I say. But in order to put people back on that logic thing, we want to go to the very simplest thing we can and start there. And it'll take ages. It'll take a long time. So the question we ask is, what is the base proof that you have personally? And if they don't understand what that is, you then say, can you prove a straight line? Definitionally, it's hard enough because it's an element. Everything else is formed upon that. So that's where we try and start and build everything up from there. Can you prove perpendicular? Yeah, of course you can. So that's where we're going right now. In your argument that you've done, you've just laid a load of assumptions down and you're asking for a proof for proof challenge, but you're saying that is what needs to be proved. You're not offering up a proof of anything. So there's nothing to be shared in the proof for proof challenge. That's what it is. I offer up a proof. The other people offer up a proof. Then we go to the next step. So everything that we build, pretty much like geometry, right? If you read the elements, you'll see an axiomatic form where everything builds on the last. Proof on proof on proof on proof. All verifiable, all basically true. Now, if you can link that to reality, then you've got a really good statement that can be done in reality. That's where we're coming from. And you're going to be struggling because the people you're talking to who can't enter into it, they never have. We've been doing this for 2 years. Not coming as a flat earther, just coming at it from reality. So can we start there on that understanding? Because I don't know where you came in from. You came in from Brian's logic. You came here and then you went over there. And now you've developed this logic thing without talking to us about exactly what we were doing and what we're talking about.
No, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Okay, well,
Enough.
I'm going to show you.
I'm an academic logician,
Yeah.
and I've studied the subject, and you use the term logic, which sort of that's what got me into it. I saw your sort of try thinking thing, and then you've got the word logos in your logo. That interested me, but now it sounds like what you're saying actually is nothing to do with logic at all. So
Well, I'll
we probably don't have much to share with each other.
Yeah, see this. Like, I know it's a meme, I know. And so you see, there's a t-shirt that we made there as well. It was quite good. It was fun because they'd never seen anything like it before. So we've got it starts off with the basic one. If a straight line is parallel, if two straight lines are parallel to the same straight line, then the straight lines are parallel to each other. Right? Brilliant statement. Can't be falsified. Absolute logic. Then you go into saying...
Wait. Just get my notes out if that's okay. So,
get your notes out.
Your first proposition, if two straight lines, say that again.
Oh, God. If two straight lines are parallel to the same straight line, then they are parallel to each other.
Yeah, that's one of Euclid's earlier proposition 12, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. And I know you're making notes for your boys, right?
Well, I want you say you have a proof, and my job is to critique. Proofs,
No. Listen, this is a proof for proof challenge. You were criticising the logic. I'm going to give you some now, right? Now, is that logic?
Sorry, you've made a statement.
Is it,
Two straight lines are parallel. If two straight lines are parallel to a third line, then they're parallel to each other.
yes.
Correct?
If then. Is that a
That's
logical
not
statement?
logic. That is not logic. That's a statement. You've made a
Okay,
statement.
right. Now,
Logic
is
about
that
what's-
provable?
That's-
Is that statement provable?
Yes, it is, because
Okay, well,
Euclid
that's
proves
good.
it.
That's good. Right, so we'll use that as our base to start off with.
Well,
and then we
you
will
might,
say...
if you're insisting that every proposition must be proved from another proposition, then no. But
That's
you're
the
taking
way
that
we
as a
like to
base.
deal it. It all follows, right? If we can make it like that, then... Right? Then you can argue. You know what the logic is? The logic is within the argument. So... I'll say another statement.
Well, I wouldn't say the logic is in the argument, but an argument has a logical form, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah?
So we will make a
I sent
statement
you-
then.
you are- I-
From
I
we will
sent you
then
that
go
thing,
on
this
from the next
argument.
statement. After that first
I
one,
can't
we will
really-
go on and say, if horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. If all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then all horizontals are parallel to each other. Just the logic, if then.
No, that's not logic. That's a statement.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the problem is you're using words in such different ways, which particular to yours, and you know we need a common.
Just to get you to think, right? The logic is the argument, and the argument is there for the discussion. So, if I say those two statements like I just have, well, what's up with that? Let's let the discussion begin. This is where you're going to find yourself in trouble, because that is just a logical statement, and that's all we're asking for. Is for people
Statements
to
aren't logical.
engage.
Arguments are logical. Can you get that?
Right? Is that a logical argument then? To you? I
The
mean,
assumption is that any two. Let me finish. Right, you're saying if two straight lines are parallel to a third line, then they're parallel to each other.
yeah.
From which it follows that if two straight lines are parallel to the horizon, then they're parallel to each other.
No, if all horizontals are parallel to the horizon, parallel to the plane of the horizon, we get a couple of geometric words in there. You know, logic
that's
formed
fine.
with geometry
That's,
is it's good stuff, isn't it? It's the best.
Your first proposition, your second proposition follows from the first logically. Yeah.
But
That is
only if you can prove a straight line, because this
I don't know what you
logical
mean
argument.
by prove. I don't know what you mean by prove a straight line.
Well,
because what you prove-
somebody would say, what's a straight line? Perhaps there are no parallels. Perhaps you've used the wrong definition of parallel. Or
No.
maybe even plane doesn't actually mean what you think it means. Maybe somebody is going to say, well, you know, definitional. Because you don't know what you've entered into here, Bebby. The people you're talking to, right, the ones at the minute, I know what a plane is. I know what parallel is. I know what straight is. But the people you're talking to over there, ooh, you can't tell them this. Please don't take this
This has
particular logic
nothing-
over there for them.
This has nothing to do with logic. Whatever anyone else thinks is nothing to do with the logic of it. I don't care what anyone else thinks.
Okay.
You understand that?
You don't think this has got anything to do with logic?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I did not say that. I said we're talking logic. Then you started talking about people on another server.
Yeah, I'm saying, like,
Just-
I worry for you. I really do.
No, I can look after myself.
Yeah. I'm just saying
Look,
that you're
let's-
asking us to do something. Now, we've made this just as little things to get people to talk about it, to get people into a conversation. And
So is
they
that,
can't.
Is that? Yeah. Have you offered me your final proof? Is that?
No.
Start with an assumption.
Proof for proof. I will prove to you a straight line. Right? actual proof in reality.
Now here, I interrupted you earlier on when you said that. What you prove is a proposition, i.e. a proposition that has truth value. A straight line is not a proposition, so you can't prove a straight line. What do you actually mean when you say prove a straight
Proof,
line?
right?
What are
Okay.
you
Now
talking
this is
about?
another discussion that we've had with people that not a lot of people have entered into the conversation of what is proof. So first off, this is what we've found because we're the only people that talk about this. Nobody else will engage.
Well, you're not.
Well, I mean, you try. You'll struggle. You can try. Well, we've decided that it's a personal thing, right? You can't.
What is a personal thing? Be precise.
Proof
What,
is
be
a
precise.
person. Are you writing all of this down, or what?
No. This is not worth writing down.
Okay, right. Okay. Well,
I
don't
start
interrupt
with a
me if it's not
proposition.
worth writing down. If I'm trying to tell you what it
I'm
is,
trying to establish some sense.
I'm
out of
trying
what
to
you're saying.
establish to you what proof is to me. Then you can understand what I'm talking about. If you don't want to do that, then fair enough.
You're going to try and explain to me what a proof is. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to take, to me, a proof is personal. It's something that I hold me. Right? It's not something that's wrote down by anybody. But better than that, right? It has to be presentable. I can't just hold a proof and say, I've proved it. To who? To me. No, you need to be able to hand it on to somebody else. So in that process of you handing it on, it has to be demonstrable. You have to be able to present it and demonstrate it to your peers, the people that what you are hoping to pass it on to. And they have to be able to repeat it and verify it in order for them to give you the thumbs up and say, yes. That proof is definitely every time. Bang. That's a proof. And then they can hold it as a proof for themselves. Now, it could be very simple. Something very, very simple. But that's what it is to me. Now, can you give us your idea of what you think proof is?
Well, I explained what an argument was. No, and please don't interrupt me here. Just let me finish. An argument is a set of premises, which are propositions, and propositions are sentences that have a truth value. So a straight line is not a proposition. I hope we agree that. So you can't prove a straight line. That's just meaningless. So what an argument is a set of premises or assumptions, which you don't have to prove. You just take them as assumptions. Then other propositions which are proved logically from those assumptions, which end up in a conclusion. And if the argument is valid, for an argument to be valid, it cannot be that the premises are true and the conclusion false. That must be impossible. So the conclusion must follow from the premises, and you have a valid argument. A sound argument, this is really important, a sound argument is a valid argument with true premises. That is distinguished from a proof where the premises are not only true, which is an objective fact, right? A proposition is true or false without any people existing. Proof is where the premises are certain or reasonably certain. That's the difference between proof and argument. Does that all make sense, or shall I repeat bits of it?
So that's what a proof is to you then?
No, that is the sort of the standard definition. So, when logicians sort of get together, they have to agree on the meanings of the words we use. So when logicians speak about a proof versus an argument, that is what they mean. Now, if you mean something different, if you're choosing to assign a different meaning to the words you use, that's fine, but you have to be clearly explain what you mean by proof and what you mean by an argument and an assumption and so forth. Does that make sense?
Right, well, this is why I was hoping you might want to go over the Black Swan, because you might get an idea of the logic that we've been dealing with and how
Well,
how
I'm
we
not. We
work
can
with
move on
logic,
to
right? So
we can move on. We can move on to the black swan when
yeah,
I don't
you
even
said
know what it is.
definitional, didn't you?
I was interested in the proof you started off, which started out with the assumption that two straight lines parallel to the third line are parallel to each other. Any
Yeah,
two such
that
lines.
initial one. Yeah, that's
Then you move
provable,
to the
right?
second proposition, but I'm not sure.
But that
what is
first proposition is provable. That's the point. Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
within the elements. It's a proposition. It's
I know
been
that.
proved and verified and validated
Right,
and
so-
everything, right? By anyone that's
actually,
done
well,
it.
So there you would say, well, we agree on that because it's been proved by Euclid.
Okay. So let's go to the next
What's
one
the
then.
conclusion? What is the conclusion of your argument?
There's no conclusion to that argument. That's just how you find a proof.
yeah, all
There is a
arguments.
proof.
All arguments, in order to be an argument, must have a conclusion.
Right, okay. Well,
Doesn't have a
therefore,
conclusion, it's not-
the lines are parallel. Right?
Say that again.
What?
Say that again, please.
So therefore, the lines are parallel. Right?
So the word therefore indicates a conclusion, correct?
Yes. Right, okay. So then we go on to the other logic, right? The next one. If all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon,
Yes.
then all horizontals are parallel to each other. Right? So we come up with a problem initially because are horizontals parallel to the plane of the horizon? Well,
That's an assumption.
well, it's a definition, isn't it?
Okay, so you're defining a horizontal as
Have you
a
looked at? Have
parallel
you
to the
ever
plane of-
looked up the definition of mathematics horizontal? Have you ever thought of doing that?
Yes, I have.
And what does it say?
I've thought of it and I've done it.
What does it say?
There are different definitions.
It says
there are a number of different
horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, going from left to right across the page.
That's
in a straight
one
line.
definition.
Yep.
Another definition is a horizontal plane is one that is perpendicular to the vertical. It's a separate definition.
Yeah, but perpendicular. And vertical is also said as to be perpendicular to the horizon, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. I've got
Well, it
definitions.
is perpendicular, but that's
Yeah, yeah.
then you have a circular
Because the
argument,
horizontal
so
is parallel.
you either define a vertical in terms of the horizontal, or you define the horizontal plane in terms of the vertical. One or the other.
No, in reality, you use tools that establish the vertical. Like that's where
Right, so what
maybe a
tools-
little bit
what
different,
tools
right?
do
So
you use?
can we get to it though? So people will say that horizontals aren't parallel to the plane of the horizon. Now, and what would you say to those people if they say that in the face of that logical argument? Because it states an if and a then. So if horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then all horizontals are parallel to each other, right?
Yes,
That's the
and
logical statement.
I went over the flaw and the logic in that in the presentation, but you haven't seen the whole
I don't think you
presentation.
didn't do that one.
Yes, I did, but you
No.
weren't there. You didn't want to turn up, did you?
I couldn't turn up. He's banned me.
Well, I would be happy to present it without interruptions.
Yeah, you can.
If you don't let me
If
present
if you want to go through, if that's what you're doing here, right? You want to go through your logical presentation. If you want to do that, then it's good. But I'm just letting you know that the proof for proof challenge that you offered me was nothing like our proof for proof challenge. And we work at first principles level. Like, what is the most base thing? And start from there. That's the proof for proof from first principles.
What I did was, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
What I did was I presented an argument that concludes, and let's call the conclusion proposition 5, all vertical lines are parallel to one another, which many people would disagree with. Now,
Yeah, I thought.
I won't go through all
I
of
thought you
this.
were brave. Actually, that was good. But did you hear that nobody said anything? That there was no reply to you, and that's because
that's wrong, because I explained this in the chat. I explained this in the text chat, that I presented it to 20 people the previous day, and I had lots of comments and lots of interesting and useful comments. Key point. It looks like you've actually seen the presentation. You've seen it on YouTube, correct? You must have done.
Yeah, sorry, we did watch it when you were doing the presentation, but we weren't allowed to record it to review it, so
right.
It was all,
it would be easiest if there's a way of uploading the presentation. It would be easiest if you just looked at it.
No, you cannot upload anything of Bob's in here. Are you trying to get my channel shut down?
I have written this. It is my copyright, okay?
Have you? Yeah, but it's recorded on Bob's, so no, I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for that trap to get my channel shut down.
Okay, what if I rewrote it? And anyway, look, you should be seeing step 3 in front of you. My question is, does it follow from the assumption that the horizon is a plane and that all vertical lines are perpendicular to the horizon? Does it follow that all vertical lines are perpendicular to the same plane? Because it sounds like, from the other argument you gave me, that the argument you gave me just now is very similar to this.
Yeah, that's definitional again.
Yeah.
All perpendiculars to the plane, the same plane, will be parallel. Yeah.
All perpendiculars to the same. Also, all perpendiculars to the horizon are perpendicular to each other, i.e., to the same plane. So that's step 3 is key in this argument.
In your argument, you'll struggle getting that past them. Like I say, nearly as bad as we struggle to get the horizontals are parallel to the same.
They absolutely all agreed. I said at each point, do we all agree with this?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying you're playing a risky game. They don't agree with that at all. They cannot agree with it. Can't agree with any of them.
Well, I don't care who agrees or disagrees. The question is whether the argument is valid or not, which it is not. I'm presenting an argument which I will show is not valid, and I'm showing which particular step it is where it breaks down, and it follows just at step 3. I mean, I can give you a screenshot of this if you want. Well, you've got it. You can screenshot it now if you like.
You've got.
Are you recording this, by the way? Are you recording this?
I am. Yeah.
So you've got this,
definition 3, book 11. Right. A straight line is perpendicular or at right angles to a plane when it makes right angles with every straight line meeting it in that plane. So that's definitional. Within mathematics, right?
Yeah, we agree with that. All vertical lines are perpendicular to the same plane. Then it follows from step 3. The question is, does proposition 3 follow from the proposition that the horizon is a plane and that all vertical lines are perpendicular to the horizon? That's the one we're testing. We're testing that for validity, and it's not valid. That step is not valid.
All horizontals will be parallel to the plane of the horizon. Then you can change that horizon for horizontal, and then the vertical would be perpendicular to the horizontal that would be there. So, yeah, that's perfectly valid. That's why you're not going to be liked.
Okay, so, well, they liked it. But look, A is perpendicular to the horizon.
Because they didn't understand what you were saying.
Bev, you have such a problem listening. You really have a problem listening. Can I just go through this so you understand it? Because I don't see a sense you're understanding it. This is the key. This is the fallacy.
Don't worry about my understanding.
Yes, I want. Sorry. You're making me shout.
Yeah. Well, like I say, don't worry about my understanding.
I want you to understand. We're not communicating if you don't understand what I say.
I'm trying to give you feedbacks to show you that I do understand.
Right. But the feedback you're giving suggests you don't understand. I'm trying to explain what the fallacy of equivocation is. The fallacy of equivocation is when you're using two terms in the same argument with a different meaning.
Horizontal.
And
I
if you
use
look at-
horizontal for a reason.
A is perpendicular to the horizontal, yeah, and B is perpendicular to the horizontal. Now, those terms have to mean the same in the argument. So the horizontal plane in London must refer the same object as the horizontal plane in New York. You see the last argument. Last step on that slide.
But that's not our argument, right? So, like, that's where you went wrong.
Then write down your argument. I deal
You've seen
far
it, you
better.
can deal with that
written
horizontal one to start off with, but
You've interrupted
the problem
me.
you will find, like you keep
You've
saying,
interrupted me again.
I know, I'm going to tell you again though, the horizontal is the problem that everyone seems to be missing, you included. It exists in reality, obviously, because it's there. It's definitional. It's parallel to the plane of the horizon. But there's a model that you seem to be forgetting because you're thinking about reality. You're not thinking about the model, which is this is a geometric thing.
I'm just thinking about an argument, okay? I'm just thinking about the logic of it. And
We're doing the geometry as well. Right, you have to take that
Right,
into
but I'm
account.
not-
You
I'm
can't.
not
You
talking- I'm
cannot miss the fact of the geometry that's involved, and particularly
There
why
is no-
we've chosen logic based around geometry.
There is no geometry involved in the step we're talking about. Equivocation has nothing to do with geometry, okay?
Well, that's because
You
you're not
agree?
dealing with our argument. You've made another one up, a straw man, and that's what you're burning right now. A
So
straw
you're
man
hacking
argument
that-
that you've made up.
Right, then give me your argument in logical form, and that was my final challenge.
Proof for proof. Yes.
Show that the Earth is not a globe, or show whatever you want to show. First of all, state what your conclusion is, and then establish it by means of a valid argument with premises we can all agree on. That's all I'm asking. You haven't. You sort of said
And
stuff.
I'm glad you've come, right?
You
Because
said stuff, but you haven't proved it. Well, you
I know.
haven't set it out. You haven't set it out in logical form. If you do that, then we can test it for validity and soundness. Okay.
yep, brilliant. So when you're entering into this argument or the proof for proof, like I say,
I'm not entering into
we're
anything.
much better at
Correct.
doing it as a team thing, right? So you can go back to Adult Globe Earth Discord server and go with level is curved. I mean, a circle. And we will go with level is horizontal. Now we're going to start from first
Yeah, well-
principles, and we will go, as you say there, proof for proof. I will start with the straight line. That's where we will start to prove. You
There,
can go
why
with
not?
your team over there and present your logical argument, right, for the straight line. And then we will go on to the next one. Our one will be perpendicular. We'll be able to prove that. And you can do the same. And we will build our arguments up, proof for proof, from first principles, every step of the way. And hopefully we get everybody to learn logic. Nice, simple steps. What do you reckon? It sounds great, doesn't it?
Not really. No.
Well,
Sounds,
that's what we've been offering for months. With
Oh,
anybody
because
that
you
wants to
haven't-
come
well,
with an
look,
argument.
Then do it. Do as I'm requesting, because I can't make any sense of an argument that's not expressed in words, and that was my.
Okay. Well, this is geometry, right?
Well,
It
you can-
will not ever be expressed in words. It's a demonstration
Right, so it's
of
not about logic
proofs.
at all.
Yes,
Why didn't you
logic.
say?
Yes.
But actually,
The most
Euclid's
base
geometry
sense of
is all
logic.
expressed in words.
Being
not?
able to prove things. Actual
hang on.
proofs. Yes.
So, but you just said what you want to prove cannot be expressed in words. Did you just say that, or was that? did I
Not
mishear?
only in words.
If it's going to be a logical argument, or if it's going to be an argument at all,
Yeah. Okay,
it
well,
has to be
there you go.
expressed in words,
I'll
right?
give you an idea. The horizontal parallel logic that we've just entered there, that will be one of the things we get to. But obviously, we need to get there to prove that horizontal is a straight line. So we start with the straight line, right? And then we go to prove that obviously a horizontal is a straight line because it's geometrically a straight line. And then we get to link level with that straight line geometrically to prove that level is horizontal. That's how we do it.
I don't think anyone disagrees that a horizontal line is a straight line. So do you need to prove that?
Yeah, you'd be
You
surprised.
need to establish that.
You're entering into an argument that I don't think you're prepared for geometrically.
Why not? Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Because there's a little trick that's been played, magic trick. The model can't have something, and you probably know. I mean, I don't want to give it away because there's some good arguments coming up, and Wally's needs to present his proof to Nathan, and you should know anyway. Stolen concept. You're a logical man. You've studied
stolen
logic.
concept is not. Stolen concept is. I know it's on Wikipedia, but and I'm pretty sure he put it there. Stolen concept is not one of the list of logical fallacies.
Mm-hmm. But you can't base a logical argument on something that you are trying to disprove, right? You can't use that within your argument logically.
So I can't use what within my argument?
You can't.
What is it that I can't?
Have you looked up stolen concept?
Yes, I have. I know about it. It's an objectivist. These people called objectivists who are followers of Ayn Rand, and these people are not logicians.
Right, but you can't use something in your proof that you are aiming to disprove with the proof, right? That's the idea. I mean, it makes sense to me.
No, I think you're talking about what's called an inconsistent system, which Gödel. Have you heard of Gödel?
Well, that's what I understand. This
is another dude.
Fallacy of stolen concept to be.
Gödel was one of the great mathematicians of the 20th century, and he talked a lot about consistency, internal consistency of a system. Well, not just Gödel. I mean, before that. I mean, if you have any set of propositions that contradict each other, or one of which contradicts the other, or something you can infer from it, then you have an inconsistent system. Logicians have known about this for centuries.
Mm-hmm. So have you done much on the black swan? Like, have you looked into that? Because that's the sort of logic you'll have to be dealing with here.
You keep talking about the black swan. I have no bloody interest in the black swan.
No, neither do I. It's a picture, but it will give you the idea of what the logic is, and and how the people have formed a bad logical statement, right, and got away with it. That's not what you're dealing with here.
A bad logical statement.
Yeah.
What is a bad logical statement?
It's one that's not formulated properly. Right?
Oh, you mean
leaves open ends within it. With open arguments.
It is not a well-formed statement.
Yeah.
Or not a well-formed formula.
Yeah.
Correct? Is that what you mean?
If you leave people being able to say horizontal isn't a straight line, then that's a badly formulated proof, right? Because you haven't covered the basis of the horizontal being straight, because they obviously are going back on it, right? So that's why I say you base everything from the simplest and you get it as simple as possible. You make the logic as simple as possible.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, that's what we aim to do. And you've not even seen the Black Swan, have you not?
I've written down some stuff. Well, I said I'm not interested in the Black Swan.
You're not interested in the Black Swan.
It's just a picture.
That's illogical. If P, then Q. It's really weird that you're not interested in the Black Swan, Because that's the original logic statement. And, like, we do have a better one than that. And if you don't want to, like, we have the better,
Well,
more
I like to
formulated version.
focus. I don't like to be distracted. I just want to focus on the argument you just gave, of which we have a part, but not the whole. I shall write it down when I get back.
Which argument?
and
Are you going to badly formulate another logical argument from us?
No, I will check it with you. The way we do it, right? The way we do it in academia is we'll write something down. Well, not just academia. I will write down what I think you said. I will then pass it back to you, and you will agree or not agree whether that captures what you're trying to say. How does that sound?
Sorry, what have I got my personal logic writer now then?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well,
I don't know how I ended up with that. That was good. Right.
well, because I'm doing.
we're going
I'm
to make
doing
an
that
understanding
because
of
you
the
seem,
law of stolen the fallacy of stolen concept, right?
you seem incapable. Forgive me for saying this, but you seem incapable of actually expressing anything in words in a coherent way. If I try and do that for you, if you agree that's what you meant, then yeah. What's the problem with that? What is the problem with that?
How about this?
You don't want me to do that.
If I say a sequence of statements, each of which is either validly derived from those preceding it, or is an axiom or assumption, and on the final member of which the conclusion is the statement of which the truth is thereby established, would that be good for you?
Of course it would.
Brilliant.
We've then got an argument with premises and conclusion. So you're happy to formulate that in written
At
words.
the
Sorry.
base.
You are happy then to
Yep.
formulate your arguments.
If
in
there's
written
going to be a
words.
counter, proof for proof. That's the way we do it.
Right. So
Who's
not
entering
only
into the opposition? Who's the other one that's going to be showing the proofs at the same time?
I'm
Or
no
you
idea
know,
what
like
you're
proof
talking-
for proof.
I've no idea. All I said was either I will write down what I think your argument is, i.e. a set of premises, assumptions,
Yeah.
which validly lead to a conclusion.
Okay. Well, like I say,
Implied
you
conclusion. Well, let's
show
me-
those
please,
guys. Tell them what the mission is, right? To prove that level is a circle, and we
I need to
as our
understand your
amateur
argument.
goes, because we always do it in source with everything in house here. We do it all on our own. So you
So,
go and help
if you-
the other guys, and we'll sort it out on this side, right? We don't need your help, especially seeing
Don't
as
need my help.
you're
That's
working
fine,
with Bob.
But we cannot have a discourse unless you write down. You
And we'll
formulate
do
exactly
the
what your
Black Swan discussion if you want. as
No,
well.
I'm interested in your sort of two straight lines parallel to the same straight line argument. I'm interested in that one. I'm interested to see it
Okay.
in a logical form, right? I'm not interested in anything else. If you say you're not interested in doing that,
Right. So,
our conversation is over. Yeah?
like you say, it's within Euclid, right? So it's already in a perfect logical form, and much like we say, from first principles, if you were to take Euclid and lead up to that point, then everything that came before that would be exactly how we would hope to lay it all out for you. So the proof of two straight lines being would be everything before that within the book of Euclid that you
I'm
would
happy
deem
to
valid
take-
to end up at that as a proof.
I'm happy for any assumption based on Euclid to accept as correct. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, it's a proposition then. So, like, what are you
If-
saying
and if
about
you're
the
saying-
valid
if you
logical
can-
argument? It's already in there.
So
Why are you
does not-
interested in it?
Euclid never proves that all vertical lines are parallel to one another.
I didn't say vertical lines. You just said two straight lines are.
Yes, he said that, and I said I'm happy for any step in your argument,
Yeah.
any proposition or premise in your argument. If it is consistent with what Euclid proves, then I'm fine with that. You don't need to prove it. I said that.
Okay, well,
twice.
that's when I said to you to offer you up that if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. So the horizontals being multiple lines and the plane of the horizon being an other line, then all horizontals are parallel to each other. I mean, just logically, it's very much similar to the other one. Now, what's your objection?
You seem very unhappy that I write that down. I offered to write it down. You said, "Oh no, you'll be doing it."
It's already been wrote down.
Where is it written down? Point me to it.
In that meme.
No, point me to that. The meme is just a sort of some random, unintelligible statements. Write down your argument. A set of premises.
It's an if-then statement, dude.
What is if then? Where is this statement? Where is it written down?
All right, I'll read it out now. Right, if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, right? That's the if. Do you want to write it down?
Yeah. This is you're now going to give me an argument.
It's just a logical argument. An if-then, yes, it's a statement, right?
If then is not. If all horizontals are. So horizontal lines or horizontals?
Horizontals, yeah.
If all horizontals are parallel to the plane
to the plane of the horizon,
then
all horizontals are parallel to each other.
Right. I've written that down.
Yeah, that came from a statement that somebody said, how many straight lines does it take to make a circle?
I've written that down. That actually is not an argument, but I will put in some logical
It's an if-then statement, right?
Yeah, that's not an argument.
Brilliant.
An if-then statement is a statement. A statement is not an argument.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's up for discussion. Now, do you have a problem with it?
An argument is a set of statements. A statement on its own is not an argument. Do you understand that?
That sounds very definitional. Do you agree it's an if-then statement?
It is an if-then. So it's material.
Brilliant. That's all we said. Now, did you hear me claim anything else?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, we're happy that it's an if-then statement that you're happy with.
It needs proof, but yeah.
Yeah. And what would that proof be? How would you gain the proof of that statement?
I shall set it out and I shall present it. I shall present it if I can here. Otherwise, I'll present it at the other place. How's that? I'm sorry if I shouted or raised my voice at any point.
Yeah, we've got loads of these little logic things, right, up for discussion.
Right.
You want to see if you put it past the guys over at...
I just said I'd do that.
What they think. Yeah.
I just said I'd do that.
Uh-oh. Nice.
Again, I don't want to misrepresent, and that's why I like to write stuff down. I don't want to misrepresent your argument.
Yeah.
That would be a straw man, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to be absolutely crystal clear. I understand what your argument is.
If you want to have a word with them about the Black Swan and say that we've offered to work over the Black Swan and show you all of the flaws within it, right? All of them.
I'm happy to do that. I'd rather do one argument at a time.
They would definitely agree to that, right? That's a logical argument or a logical discussion that they would definitely allow. The horizontal one, you're gonna have problems with. I'm telling you.
Are there any other comments? Any other comments from anyone else here? We've got 6 people.
Does anyone else want to have a word with Bebby? Any problems with it? No.
I was just wondering about his thing about inconsistencies he mentioned earlier.
An inconsistency is where a set of axioms contain contradiction. One axiom contradicts another or is contrary to it. That's an inconsistency.
Okay.
Isn't
Using
an
a
axiom
synonym.
a self-evident truth, or do you have a different understanding?
An axiom is whatever you start with, really, and it's normally a self-evident truth, or something everyone agrees to.
Okay.
So with your inconsistencies, if something is proven to be something, it cannot be something that it is not. Yeah.
Not quite sure I'm with you.
Right, if something is proven to be what it is, it logically speaking, it cannot be that which it is proven not to be.
That which it is proven not to be.
Yeah, the law of non-contradiction, I think.
The principle of non-contradiction.
Oh. I thought it was a law.
It's sometimes called the law of non-contradiction. It's the principle, or PNC. Yeah, you have an inconsistent system. If you have assumed something, basically, if you have assumed something that is contrary to, or inconsistent with your conclusion, then you've done something very wrong. In fact, have you heard of the reductio?
Reductio ad absurdum.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
never heard of it.
We must have heard of it because you said it was reductio ad absurdum. That
I
is
was
where
being
you take,
facetious.
Yeah, it's like it's a joke round here because that's where we spend most of our time.
what? Sorry.
In that sort of fun state of messing around with the reductio ad absurdum.
So
Picking
you all,
apart other people's arguments.
so you're all comfortable. We don't need to talk about that then. If you know what it is.
Yeah. The
Yeah, what?
go on.
Why did you bring it up? Yeah, just curious. Why did you bring it up, Beb?
Why did I bring up what?
Reductio ad absurdum.
I brought it up because if D then P talked about inconsistent sort of arguments, which was, and the reductio is where you say, well, this argument's inconsistent. We've reached a contradiction. Therefore, one of the assumptions must be false. Could be in any of them. That's all.
Do you allow for fallacies if you can slip them through?
If what? Sorry.
Do you allow for fallacies if you can slip them through within your logic? If people
No,
don't understand the logic, do you allow fallacies to
Well,
slip
that
through?
was why. Just to go on to that, I gave you a link to the article on logical form. All logicians are interested in valid arguments, and that by definition is an argument which instantiates or is an instance of a valid form. So any argument that instantiates a valid form is a valid argument. Anything else that purports to be an argument must be a fallacy by definition.
Yeah. Mind your P's and Q's.
Kind of, yeah.
Wise woman once said.
Shout out, Emma.
QE didn't want to put it on a T-shirt. Worst mistake he ever made.
What didn't he want to put on his t-shirt?
Mind your P's and Q's.
Right.
Sorry, Emma says, mind your P's and Q's.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I will bid you farewell. Thank you.
Okay. And don't forget about the asking the guys over there if they... Because I did see that they had asked you, would you go over the Black Swan with them?
They did, and I looked at it and I thought, well, I don't actually have it. Yeah, someone sent me a link to a presentation of some kind, but...
Well, tell them that we've offered to go through it with you, right, and show all of the flaws, many of them. They'll like that. Offer it as a peace offering
Well,
for forward momentum.
I shall mention it. I'm sorry there's any sort of bad blood or... I mean, it's not disagreement, it's clearly bad blood of some kind.
Yeah, not
There
from
is
this
clearly
side. We're trying to move forward and get rid of that old thing. I mean, we were saying last night in the live show that I don't want to trigger anyone with this stuff that we do, right? Because it is just it's based in reality and all the logic. We're trying to make it as base as possible, so as most people can understand it. It is just about the straight line.
Let's hope we can overcome these sort of...
Yeah, I have a parting question for you, Bebby, if I may.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came over and had a discussion.
Thank you.
What is your takeaway from the conversation that you had?
Which conversation? Sorry.
This one to just now.
I find it slightly frustrating because I work with basically the written word. I'm a writer. I'm not much of a speaker. And when people say, I'm just going to say something, I like to write it down and ponder it and consider it. So this was a little bit frustrating for me because we had to end up with Bev basically stating what he wanted to say as his argument and me writing it down. And I just hope I wrote it down correctly. I will check. I'll check via PM with Bev that I've written it down correctly, and then she'll take a look at it.
I just do need to say here, Bebby, that statement was given to you over an hour ago.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
That if P then Q, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. That was given to you over an hour ago.
Yeah.
And now you're moaning that it wasn't given to you.
No, I wasn't moaning.
Hang on a second, P. Bebby, I think what DP's getting at is that wasn't actually my question. My question was actually more along the lines of what did you get from, what did you learn from the conversation? Is there something as a learning thing that you learned from the conversation that you had with Bev? Not what is a thing that you can gripe about that sticks out in your mind, but what is something that is a good takeaway that you learned in a positive way?
So it has to be a positive takeaway, does it?
I would think so. I mean, learning is a positive thing, I think.
Not necessarily. You can learn something bad, can't you?
Okay, sure. But what is so? The question is still there. What did you learn?
Semantics.
I learned that we have very different understandings of what sort of the basic logical terms mean. I think Bev said at one point, "Oh, you're quoting some dude." I think he said that. Am I right?
If P then Q, I'll find it strange that you don't want to go anywhere near the black swan when we're talking about if P then Q statements.
No, there are many other things you said, like proving a straight line. I mean, I don't know what that even means. You are confusing propositions with arguments. You're saying propositions can be valid when only arguments can be valid. There is a whole sort of vocabulary there. It felt like I was in a different country where I understood a bit of the language, not much of it, and it was really...
I'm sorry, we're common around here, and we try and keep stuff really, really simple for the common people. Maybe we're dumbing it down too much and starting at first principles, maybe a little bit too much for you. Well, maybe it's the way we talk, I don't know. But yeah, we're trying to keep it simple for everyone. Please.
Yeah, but it's not simple. It's not simple if you use commonly understood terms in different ways, like we're in a foreign country. I have what I'd say is, so what I learn, well, I don't think anyone here has actually studied logic, is what I learned. Sorry.
So you learned how to make a weak ad hom then, is that basically it?
It's a weak. It's a helpfully intended ad hom because You know, if you don't
Okay.
understand what you don't know, then you don't understand what you don't know. So
Yeah.
I would suggest, as a helpful comment, get some basic logic textbook and work through it. I'm happy to help you here, being positive, and just
You
use the
learned that
vocabulary in the
you
right
need
way.
to help me understand things rather than
Yes. Yeah,
it's
very
something
much.
that you learned to help you.
I,
That's an interesting
I,
take on things.
I'm trying to be
Interesting take.
helpful. I'm trying to be helpful. If you don't
Yeah,
understand what you don't
I
know,
appreciate, you know what I've learned is that I've appreciated how to appreciate your condescending help.
it's very difficult to offer help without appearing condescending, and I apologize, but what else can I do? You asked me what I took home. What I learned from this was that you guys
Yeah, I
need to
thought that
learn
would be
much.
something that would be helpful for everyone, but apparently it's only helpful for you. That's fine.
It'll be helpful.
However,
It would be
fine.
helpful for you. It would be helpful for you to learn the subject matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the problem? What's the
And
problem with that?
I wish you well with
Very
your
clever. Very clever linguistics.
yeah, learning, teaching the adult globe earthers this very stuff, right? Because, like you've already said, you've entered into a proof for proof challenge, right? Now, you know where we are coming from. Go and help them with their proof, right? For them to establish their proof, and we'll meet at some point. We can do it just logically. And we've been asking for that for ages. I mean, we did have earlier things on the logic of reality that you might be able to look back over, see how much interaction we ended up with. Saragaki's your man. Saragaki was really impressed. Thank you. Welcome for coming. Good timing. With the horizontal parallel logic, actually.
Sorry, what horizontal parallel logic are you talking about?
Oh, you've forgotten about it. The one that
Already?
you just
Forgotten
wrote
about it
down
already. I thought he
earlier.
wrote
With
it. I thought he wrote it down.
the if-then
Oh, right. So
statement.
you're talking about your proof, yeah? Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that you took forever to write down and insisted that it was repeated to you. That
Yeah,
thing.
I'm an old guy and I'm a bit slow, and I apologise for being slow, but I like to
After
do
having
things.
it being given to you over an hour ago.
Right, and still don't remember it when it's repeated back to you.
I've now written it down.
Interesting.
Nice one.
This is very
If-
interesting, this, Bebby.
If we're going to descend to insults, then I'm
Says the man who started with the ad homs.
Yeah, you've always been insulting.
Nice one.
I don't know whether you noticed
And
it
the
or not,
linguistic
Bebby.
play.
Well, what else am I meant to say? If you clearly don't understand a subject,
Yeah, I'm saying, like, don't worry about us understanding and our understanding of things. Perhaps we understand things differently. What you want to be doing is going over there, Adult Globe Earth Discord server, and tell them that the proof for proof challenge is on. You will help them write the logic, and we'll sort it out on our own. Don't worry about that. We've got some good logical minds here. Ours will mainly be based around the if-then, right? If P, then Q. That's the logical we'll be using, right? And we'll be ending to prove it as well. So, wish you well.
thank you very much. I bid you good day.
Thank you very much.
Bebby, can I just ask you before you leave that next time you go over to the Adult Globe Earth Discord server, please don't misrepresent what we're doing here once more.
That was the reason I wrote down, and perhaps took a long time.
So you need to go back there.
I wrote it down.
Clearly state that what you presented last time was a misrepresentation.
I wasn't aiming to represent. I stated specifically. I wasn't.
Now everybody knew who that presentation was aimed at. You need to go back and clearly state it was a misrepresentation.
Well, actually, I don't think it was. Having written down the argument, I don't think it
Based on a
was.
load of assumptions that you've just ended up handing it to us to say, prove it. Like that's not what we do round here.
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, I must go.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you've been attacked?
No, he's gone.
John.
Yeah.
So
You guys, wow, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Bev especially.
Please tell me that I don't understand what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand what I don't understand.
You just don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't have the level
It's
of
a
comprehension.
it's a linguistics thing, and it's very technical.
That's what I said
do you know
to
what?
him. He's a linguistics guy, like he showed us in that paper, right? More shit means better bullshit. Like you can get away with all sorts of stuff in the definitions.
Well, I made a note of it earlier in the live chat where he's basically saying a logician would say this. What do you say? As if he is a logician, but he's speaking of it, and DP picked it up as a third person. So it's very tricky how he does things.
Yeah, that's a talented guy, right? Because also in drawing information out of you, because it's pretty obvious that he hasn't got the actual logic principles of what he's talking about, just the academia behind it, and he's grasping for it. You know, he's trying to find something out, then he can disprove whatever you say. That's what they're all about, is people.
It was very telling. It was very telling when I asked him that last question of what is your takeaway? What did you learn? Because I got that question from like a couple years ago when I was in jiu-jitsu class. Like, you don't know shit. Like you're just learning stuff. You don't know how to, like, the black belts are teaching you, right? And the black belts are asking you, and you're like, only been going to class like for a few weeks. Like, what did you learn? And like, well, I learned I didn't know shit. I learned, but then as you go along, you're like, oh, I learned how I can do this part of it better. Well, he said the answer to that question was, well, I learned you guys are dumbasses. And obviously paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Mm-hmm. My takeaway from this conversation is, hey, you guys are dumb.
Yeah, because he's coming under the preconception that we're probably flat earthers. He probably thinks we are flat earthers, like he kept saying with his presentation. Initially, it was.
No humility, no humbleness about what did you learn? Well, I learned I didn't. Like, I learned that I didn't know as much as I thought I did about what you guys know. It didn't go the other way at all. So I think that's where there's some major disingenuousness.
Well, he is the monotone academia that is above us.
Right.
So, of course, when you talk like this and you pretend that the other people didn't answer every question you had, that they need to go back and learn from a very low level because they are dumb.
Right. Everything down.
Well, that was the point, right? I'm still recording, finishing this recording off. The point of what I was trying to get through to him was, in this arena, people always say definition. They blame you for definitions, but then they say, well, horizontals aren't. And so you have to take one step back. That's why the first principles came round. Start at the base and work upwards, rather than destroying something that's there and knocking it downwards. Just start at the base and work up. Yeah. He said you can't prove a straight line. That's convenient, isn't it? I mean, like, that's the thing of this argument is, you know who knows the argument, because they cannot enter at the proof stage or the straight line stage. They just confuse people with words.
Wordsmiths.
Well, it's not only it's not like he did it in a weird way though. He wasn't like a rumpus where he went in a way and just talked into circles. He did it in a way he detached himself from him speaking to you. So there's two people talking, or there was one point of view, and then there's him talking, just like in a linguistics thing that we were saying. And so that's where it gets tricky, because both of those perspectives that he's asking you questions with are asking you, one person, you to answer. So you're actually answering 2 points of view with your one answer. It's weird, it's slippery, it's tricky, and it's not honest when it comes down to it.
Yeah. He's trying to say he's different. He's doing linguistics, right? So here's the logic that he was asking me whether he'd wrote it down correctly or not. So I sent him the meme. I'm going to put it up for you. There. Right.
Because that's his way of cornering you into something that you said.
I've had the words guys forever on Twitter, right? There's loads of them. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if that was Teabag. Could sound a little bit like Teabag.
Yeah.
Right, so can you see that? And what he's saying, can you see the linguistical thing he's going to mess about with? It was I did it for a reason. Everything always for a reason.
Which part?
The one where, well, it says, if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then the t-shirt design, logic, genius. And then all horizontals are parallel to each other. Right? But can you see the then? What's it over?
Therefore.
There you go. So he's now saying if then is very different than a if therefore in a logical statement type thing. But I mean, I purposely put the if and the then over the top of a statement that is like the statement. All horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. I just put an if there. Therefore, all horizontals. It works both ways, right? You just put the if and then over it, and you can then make it into an if-then statement, right? It's clever. Yep. It's just like I was the one, if anyone was playing games with that, by just putting it into an if-then. Simple. It's that's all you do. Does one follow the other? Are they both true statements, right? Like, where's the problem in it? Like, we've all done it. Once you enter that particular conversation, then it's just up there. It's for logic. It's up for discussion. Anybody's got any problems with it? Let's work it out. Let's go through it. But yeah, that's what he's. I know he's going to go over there, and because he can't entertain this argument in other adult Globe Earth Discord servers.
He's not coming at it at an honest point of view.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, honestly, not even his point of view, but he's just not coming at it honestly.
Yeah, model afflicted, right? Obviously, but he's not only model afflicted, he's argument afflicted too. He knows this argument with the model affliction makes it doubly so, right?
Yeah.
Very telling. But I mean, I'd say good luck to him. But I'd say he's a very clever man, obviously. He's just playing a different game, I think. He's playing a linguistical game, whereas we're trying to make this simple. And until they do get on that very simple, well, we know they can't. So.
Well,
That's such a telling. Yeah, go ahead, DP.
I was just going to say he's completely blown Ruhif out of the water with his definitions are meaningless. According to Bebby, everything hinges on definitions and meanings.
Well, like, that's true to what we say as well, right?
Mm-hmm. And so we do have some common ground with him.
Yeah, but we can't get there. I say, I know the problems he's going to have. And it's not really with us.
I would like to listen to that back at some point. I mean, not right this second, but just to get from what he said during the conversation and then what he ended up concluding, I don't think it jives. You know what I mean? I just want to.
He didn't offer anything.
Zero.
It's very the same as what we're always dealing with. You're always defending something that's coming from them, and they rephrase what you say and turn it into something that you have to defend again. Like, so you're always going after, I don't know, like, as far as I see, that's the problem, is that this is a proof for proof, and there's no even understanding of what they consider a proof. I mean, what did you hear from what he said? He considers a proof.
I don't know. What was your vibe? I mean, I know it's always different from listening and then actually talking to the person. What was your vibe when you were talking to him? Was he trying to? Did you feel like he was trying to steer it differently, or avoid, or obfuscate, or
avoiding? Right, he's avoiding the conversation.
What was your take?
Yeah, massively avoiding a conversation of having to prove anything. Right, he's obviously coming from a position where I think he knows all of the other people he's talking to haven't got a clue what we're talking about. Like it was once said, somebody said to us, it's as though we are speaking a different language.
He did say that.
People do not understand what we say, and we're just trying to keep it simple. He sounded like an intelligent guy, right? But
yeah,
he was overplaying everything. The ability to, because he did say he likes to write things down, and that way he can study it with his mind. So that's the calming of the mind that Spot On was talking about. And he obviously has a problem speaking, right? In the ability to think quickly or process or whatever. He needs to write it down to be able to visualize it and form it there. And that's obviously where he's going to get his proofs, if that's what he needs to do. He's sort of telling us that that's the way he does it, which I mean,
but it's
isn't
also
what
a
we
bullshit.
do.
But writing everything down and asking somebody to repeat it is also kind of a bullshit tactic. I mean, I agree with you. I think that is his mode of like absorbing information. I think that's true. He did give that up. But I think he used that also as kind of a bullshit tactic along the way by saying, yeah, I'm still writing it down after he had been told it over an hour ago, and he's repeating it, trying to get us to repeat it, that he said he already wrote it down. You know what I mean? It's like twisting it all up after he said he already wrote it down. He took...
Yeah.
He's using it as a I don't know, as some sort of weird way to also use him writing down what you say as a thing against you. It's weird. It's weird. It was weird.
It's good. A good start for the new year, though, right? Progression forwards. This is the sort of stuff we're after doing. Like, this is the breakdown of the conversations that we do have. It's a good way to show what we do here and the people that we have here. I mean, people are going to be listening into it later on. The recording that we're doing right now will be played live, I should imagine, later on. Right? And then we can stop it and go over it and record it. And this is the stuff we need to be going over.
Yeah, this is the stuff that I got out of. This is the stuff that I learned from that conversation. Not, well, I learned that he was a fucking asshole douchebag with, that.
Yeah.
I didn't learn that he was some sort of weak ad hom. I learned all of these little minute details that we're talking about. And now, if he can't be genuine enough to go into that kind of level of honesty, then, that's what we're dealing with at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Just so Emma can speak.
Looking out upon the shore, I found balance and so much more. It's getting clearer all the time. All we see are all these dead straight lines. And show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. This is where I make my stand. Please don't take me to your la-la land. It's all about geometry. All we see is horizontally. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy, and you can't bend reality into what you think your cognition sees. Something's happening to me. Don't remind me of how things used to be. We don't need no sycophants. Aren't we all just so sick of that?
Earlier on, there was half a dozen people talking.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Sensible.
Do you hold any proofs?
Again, I missed who that was. Sorry, I'm mucking around with my mic. Who's that? I heard Bev. Did I?
I can't tell you, mate. It's
Yeah, sorry. We were just going in over a proof thing we're doing.
That's fine. That's fine. So how's it all going, guys?
It's cool. It's cool. It's going
Good,
great
good.
in a minute. I'm just making a brew for the missus, so have a chat with the lads.
Bro, do you know?
We've been up
Oh
to-
my god, I thought that was actually.
Go on, right then.
No, I thought it
Or
was
is that
worded.
Sean? Sorry, is that Sean?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sensible.
Hello, Montreal. You all right?
Very good, very good. Yourself?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. Not so bad.
Good to
Just a
have
bit
you.
tired. Just a bit tired because I've come off a night shift. But apart from that, all's good.
I hear you. That sucks. I was on that yesterday. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
What's on your mind today, bro?
Oh no, nothing in particular. I just because do you remember we had a chat a little while back and you said, "Oh, come in," and I said, "Yeah, I will do sometime." And I popped in earlier on, and whoever it was talking about biblical stuff, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but it's not really my thing, and so I just left again. That was all. I wasn't trying to interrupt or disturb.
Perfect.
No,
Since
fine,
you're
mate.
here and we were doing a logic thing, I'd like to take the opportunity to ask you. Well, actually, the proof thing. Sorry, I'd like to take the opportunity to ask you, what is proof for you? What constitutes proof for you? If you don't mind asking, that is. I mean, if you don't mind answering, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just need evidence. You need evidence that's non-contradictory. I mean, as we know, science doesn't do proof. You get more and more evidence to either support or knock down a theory.
Right. Okay, let me make a statement. You tell me if it's true or not. If you don't drink water for 2 months, you will die. Would you say that's a proof, a statement of proof, or not?
It's not enough information, really, is it? You could be, I don't know. I don't know what the possibilities are, but perhaps on an intravenous drip, you could be drinking something else instead of just water. So
No
you
drips.
can't.
I mean, just
Yeah, but well, it's not.
What about intake of any fluids? Right, like no fluids into the body.
yeah. That's more accurate.
Right. So say it again with that then.
So, can you survive 2 months? Can a human survive 2 months without an intake of any fluids?
At face value, oh, sorry. Go on. Carry on.
Whether intravenously or any way through, drinking it or with any method.
Well, I'd have to say to my level of medical knowledge, which is very, very layman, I'd have said no, but I could easily be wrong on that.
How can you envision that? Like in a very elementary form, isn't that like sort of like some sort of proof right there? And to say science can't prove anything, doesn't it sound kind of ridiculous from the get-go?
That's a claim, isn't it? I know you're not necessarily making that claim, but someone could claim that that you can survive without any intake of fluids, in which case you'd need to test it.
Would you like to volunteer?
No, thank you.
Hey, SE, sorry, mate, but why don't you just increase it to, 10 years?
Well, I do that when they say, well, I heard somebody that can survive 2 months. Then I say, okay, how about 6 months? Yeah.
Well, I didn't fall into that trap, did I?
Yeah, because they do that spot on. Nice catch there. Yeah.
I think sorry,
you're trying to.
I don't want to spoil your thunder. If that's where you were going to go. Yeah. Cheers.
I don't think
it's a very crude and like elementary way to, when they say there's no proof, right? Yeah.
I don't think that works for proof, though.
No, it's not a proof thing, is it? It
doesn't. No.
It's a claim that you may or may not be able to evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what they say when I say they. A lot of people that we've talked to say there is no proof in science. So you could call that a science, could you? Science of living.
I'm working. So I just want to say one thing. So with the death thing, how about if we keep logic and proofs not into what you know, like, oh, if you went, how about this? Can we, or is it proof that we're talking right now? Right? So forget a hypothetical. What about the moment we're in right now? Is that proof of something?
Well said. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's proofs everywhere.
Proofs in reality, right? That's
In
the
reality.
main thing, right?
Yes.
Does it make it scientific?
Yeah. I don't know
It's
whether
just-
you could have a hypothetical proof. I don't know whether those actual things exist.
And also, those that are calling us in particular here scientists are saying that we
Right. Is that where we... Because I missed the beginning bit. SE. I know SE's doing a project proof at the minute. So is that what you would say, that the sunset is a proof of something?
What, you asking me?
Yeah.
No, I'd say that seeing the sun set is an evidence. And then the question is, does that evidence fit with a sphere Earth or a flat Earth or some other shape Earth? And I would say that evidence would be contradictory to the Earth being flat. However, it's not contradictory to the Earth being spherical. It doesn't prove the Earth is spherical, but it it doesn't prove that the Earth is spherical, but it is not, and evidence against it is not contradictory.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the sunset behind mountains?
Yes.
And there's a proof that the Earth isn't flat.
I don't think anyone's denying topography. Or maybe they are, but I'm not.
Your phraseology is a bit out of whack.
No, well, say what you said again, because I took that as saying there's such a thing as mountains, therefore the Earth isn't flat. I don't think mountains are evidence of the Earth being a sphere or evidence of it being a plane.
It's evidence of
It's
it
just
not
topography.
being flat, is what.
Well, not
TP
flat,
said.
not flat like not a flat surface like a kitchen worktop. No.
Yeah, well,
but
that's
then
what flat is.
nobody, I don't think anybody on the globe side is denying that there is topography, mountains, valleys, and etc.
Okay. And I don't think
An
anybody
imperfect sphere.
in reality is denying that there are mountains and anything either. But I'll just say that it's definitely evidence that it's not flat and provable, actually.
Measurable.
Yeah.
In actual fact.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone. I don't want to argue the flat side, but I don't think that even the most ardent flat earther is saying that the Earth is flat with no mountains, no valleys, or anything like that. I think
you are arguing for a two-dimensional plane.
That's what you're talking about, yeah, surely.
Mm.
That's what you're arguing against, the flat Earth, right? The Earth.
Yeah,
being
yes,
flat.
but no, I'm not arguing against. I've said that quite explicitly. I'm not arguing against topography, and to step into the shoes of a flat earther.
So therefore, it's
I don't
not
think
flat.
that they. To step into the shoes of a flat. To step into the shoes of a flat earther, I don't think that. I don't think that they are claiming.
Shoes, have you?
Are you going to let me finish, Bev?
Well, you're getting into a straw man. You're making a straw man argument, right? And arguing a straw man argument to us when I'm just saying that the evidence of mountains means it's not flat, obviously. Like, I'm just coming from a realistic viewpoint. Like, I know how the elevation is measured. The very fact that elevation is measured means it's not flat. So can we take that out of the argument, right? Unless you want to tell us what you mean by flat.
I will tell you what I mean by a flat Earth, as I believe that flat Earthers feel.
No, please,
okay?
please, no, please don't,
Bev.
don't, because I know who the flat earthers are that you're talking about. They don't
I'm
come
talking
in
about
here.
any flat earthers. I'm talking about any flat earthers. When they say flat Earth, they're not saying it's flat, smooth like a kitchen counter. They're saying it's
You're
a
speaking
plane.
for them. Don't stop speaking.
No,
for
I'm not
people,
speaking
please.
for them, Bev. You're
Yeah,
right.
you are.
I have
Yes, you
already
are.
said.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Right, if you guys
You've put
won't let
your
me
flat Earth shoes on, remember?
I'll take them back off again. Right, there's two possibilities that we're talking about. The Earth is a sphere. The Earth is flat. Now, when we use the term, when we use the term,
false dichotomy.
Oh God! Listen, I'm happy to come in here and have a chat, but you're not letting me chat.
No, please. We watched a debate the other day, right? It wasn't a debate. Nathan Oakley and Flat Earth Math. Now, did you see that?
Don't think I did.
Oh, you don't worry, you won't be impressed. But
I'm never impressed by Oakley.
In that, right, because you've set up a false dichotomy like you have, right? People like Nathan Oakley go, where's your radius? You can't give me radius. Welcome to Flat Earth, right? Because that's the false dichotomy that he set up. I don't want to have that because it's not either one or the other. I don't have any models. I just live in reality. So if we can't get along just talking about reality, then I don't want to know about either of your models and the people that you don't like with that model because it's ridiculous. And you're talking about your model, which is a concept that you've got of your model. Nobody else has that one that you have. That's yours.
Somebody else brought up mountains, and all I'm saying is mountains don't come into it, because with the flat Earth model, which I do not hold to, but with the flat Earth model, you would still have mountains and valleys, because we're talking about a generally flat plane, as in it is not curving in a sphere. That's the flat side. The flat model is not a sphere. So I'm quite happy to leave mountains out of it.
We did some logic the other day. Have you heard of it? You've been over to the Adult Globe Earth Discord server, the other one, you know.
Never heard of it.
Wow.
You have. You've been over there.
No. Sorry. Which one? Say
Bob
again.
Won't be happy.
Bob's. No, sorry.
You're not promoting his server.
You said something about the adult stuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what he said.
I thought it's called. I thought it's called Globe Earth 24/7 or 12/7, something like that.
Only for adults, though.
Right. Okay. Well, look, Bob's server. Yes.
Right, so there's a guy that's doing logic, and you might be keen on this. And
I have seen him.
Okay. So did you see the one that he did yesterday?
I may have done, because I did look at one this afternoon where he was pulling apart your. I nearly walked into that. He was pulling apart your horizontals being parallel to the horizon and stuff, which I have said, Bev, I don't want to discuss again.
No, yeah, I know.
Because I've already. Okay.
Right, but so that is logic, right? That's come from us, from here, from reality. It's reality logic, isn't it?
Well, you'll have to take up his disagreements with him.
No. I'm not. I'm asking you. Like we're saying, you say that there is two different models, and I say I'm just coming from reality. So I'm saying to you, that logic that says if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, which they are, then all horizontals are parallel to each other, which they are. Just that logic, does that fit with you on a globe model Earth or the flat model Earth, or just in reality?
I've already said, Bev, I'm not going to go through your claims again. We did do a debate. I'm not going
It's
to
just
discuss your
simple
because I do not want to go round in circles with your flat horizontal
Why-
level thing.
It's just simple.
Why won't
Do
you answer a
agree with it
simple
or not?
logical question?
I have been through a debate with Bev when we
This
discussed
isn't
that.
a debate.
No, I know it's not a debate, but I said I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, but that's what I was.
Because-
I was just trying to know. So we know where you're coming from when you say globe Earth and flat Earth. Which one of those would you put it on?
Well, I don't agree with your premise.
Okay, so would you call that flat Earth logic?
I think I would call it. Hold on a second. What's the word? Sorry, there's an exact term I'm just trying to think of. I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, it's malformed logic. I think that's the word I was looking for.
So it's the antecedent if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon.
I think that your flat equals horizontal thing is malformed. Okay,
It's not.
So that's my
flat
opinion.
equals horizontal. Nobody
Sorry,
said
level
that.
equals horizontal.
No,
yeah, Becky,
not
I just
that
misspoke.
either.
Your parallel lines thing.
Horizontals being parallel.
If
Logic.
you're going to misrepresent Mr. Sensible...
I'm not trying to misrepresent. I've already said I don't even wish to discuss it. So I'm not trying to misrepresent it. I haven't.
You did. You said
I said I
flat, and you
disagree.
said
I have
level.
said I did just say I misspoke there, Bev. Anyone can misspeak. Please don't hold that against me. You may misspeak.
3
I won't
times.
hold that against you.
You stumbled over that word 3 times.
Yes, because I'm not interested in his that logical claim.
You're Mr. Logic.
You're Mr. Logic.
I'm not interested in an argument over
Logic
if
with
level
cheese
is always
doesn't want to
horizontal.
talk about logic.
No, I don't wish to talk about this endless level equals
It's
horizontal.
not level. This is just horizontal parallel logic. That's
Yeah, well,
one of the
that whole
simple
thing. I
logic
don't
things.
wish to talk about it, and I said I'll talk about something else. I don't wish to talk about that because we've already done that.
All right. What did
You're
we come
gonna
to the
do them
conclusion
easy.
of? It's just malformed.
I believe it's malformed. Yeah,
What
that
about
guy.
it is malformed? Go on.
Well, go and see what
Give us
that guy
some
said.
help.
That go and see what that logic guy said. That's the video I
That
saw.
logic guy. Do you think he's
Yeah.
a logic guy, really?
I don't know his name, but the guy who I think he does logic for a living or something. I'm not really sure of the details because
Is that a logical assertion there, Mr. Sensible, coming from the man who is logic with cheese?
what do you mean?
I'm sorry. Like the logic thing. Like you've watched it. Do you think he's a logic guy?
I watched it briefly this afternoon. It's about a 5 or 6 minute clip I saw, and my understanding is he is someone who, as part of his profession, works with logic. I don't know his background. I don't know.
You've watched what he was saying. Does it sound logic? You're the logic guy.
I'm not going to go in and discuss all that. I've already said.
Can you not talk about logic?
I don't. That's all you want to talk about, Bev.
No,
is that
Well, you're the
is
logic
the
man,
logic
Mr.
guy.
Sensible.
It's
It's
weird
your
that there's a new
horizontal
logic guy come on the scene, and you don't seem to know whether he's a logic guy or not, or what he's trying to do. I mean, he did drop the horizontal parallel logic, and the one before that, he went into that room and ended up saying that the Earth is not a sphere; it's not a globe.
Well, I didn't hear him say that. As I
Did you
said,
not?
I hadn't heard
You should
of
go
him.
back and watch that. It's
I
great.
hadn't heard of him before this afternoon, and I saw one 5-minute video when he was talking about your claims. That's all I know
It's
of
not my
him.
claims.
Okay.
It's just a bit of logic we made for a T-shirt and to explain to people
T-shirt.
how to.
Okay.
how to
Well, let me
formulate
rephrase that
logic.
then. A 5-minute video with him talking about your logic.
And that 5-minute clip that you watched was enough for you to snigger at Bev when he mentioned the parallel.
No, I've already
horizontals.
been through a discussion with Bev about that some time ago. On our, I think it was our first meeting. We had a live stream, didn't we, Bev?
Yeah.
Quite a while
we,
ago.
We tried to go over the test with you, and you didn't understand it at all.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you didn't.
Like really weird that you've not understood any of the logic either. You know, the Black Swan. Do you want to take us up on that? Going over the Black Swan. We'll fucking decimate it. I've been quiet for
Okay,
2
well, let's
years.
have.
Not now. Well, this will have to be a special, right? You bring whatever you're gonna bring, right? And we will just smash the shit out of it. I've got at least 10 points that I could bring up about it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Would you like to discuss sometime my mage experiment and what that resulted in?
Observations, looking at shit.
You're going up in a balloon.
Evidences.
Evidences.
Evidences that would be contrary to the fact. Evidences that show.
Have you done that?
Evidence either supports.
Hold on.
Runs counter to a theory.
You have video. You have video of mage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not evidence. That is proof of what you have. So what you're doing is
what do you mean that's
taking
proof of what I have?
Hang on, let me finish. How do you prove? So if you can't prove that you have a video that you've watched, then what are you basing your conclusions on?
If I have video if I can't prove I've got video, did you say?
Yeah. Well, isn't you having a video reality, right? There's no dispute that you have a video, right?
No dispute I have a video. Good.
Okay, so you proved it. So that's proven, right?
Well, someone would have to evidence that I haven't. I mean, I'm not. Look, there is video.
No. Wait, no. Stop saying evidence, right? Because
because it is evidence.
Hold on. Don't say that word.
Okay.
Now,
I'll let you finish, and then I'll respond.
Okay, so we're not talking about evidence because you were saying the video is evidence. Now I'm saying we have the video. Is the video not proof of itself?
What do you mean? Is it proof of itself? I actually don't understand what you're trying to say there.
Okay, here, let me. So you say that the video that we definitely 100% have proven we can watch that and draw conclusions. Those conclusions then make the video evidence. But the video is not evidence. The video is a video, and it is proven in reality to be itself. The evidence is your conclusions that you will draw and then apply to the video. The video in of itself is proof of itself. You watch the video, your conclusions are drawn, and then you call the video evidence for your conclusions.
Wow,
we have a video.
Done. I like that.
Does it fit with both? It doesn't. Fit with the Earth being flat.
That's your conclusions, right? Now we have proven in reality. Hang on, let me finish. We have proven in reality that there is a limit to distance. Proven, done, proof, right?
Hold on. Oh, whoa. A limit to distance. Do you want to rephrase that?
A vision. We have a limit to we have a distance limit to our vision.
Do we?
You just proved it. You said in reality.
No. Of the Earth, forever. There is. The mage video will only show a limited distance across the Earth, but that's not a limit to your vision.
I'm talking about humans. Now, humans can
what
see...
limit do you think we have to our vision?
Hang on. Bro, okay, so if there's no limits to the vision, right, then your mage thing is useless. So we have to, we're starting with, do you even... No, that's not a non-sequitur. Because when you start drawing conclusions from the video, right, those are not facts. Those are your conclusions. So now we're trying to settle on what is fact. Are you with me?
I'll just ask you: are you right the hand? You sound like
don't worry about who I am.
Is that right the hand?
Why do you care about who I am? This is your tactic to evade the conversation. So
no. I'm just interested. You just got the same sort of accent as right the hand.
Okay, well, a lot of people are from New York. So when you have a video, did we not? Is the video of itself the physical plastic tape? Is that not proof that you have a physical plastic tape, or is that still just evidence of the thing?
We have a video which actually is not on physical plastic tape, but I know where you're going with that. We have a video which shows things. In that video, we can see across the Earth. However, we cannot see across the Earth forever. Therefore, does that fit with the flat Earth theory? No, it doesn't, because there would be nothing to hide there'd be nothing to hide the further distance Earth. But that's not showing that you cannot see greater distances, because, for instance, you can see stars, you can see the moon, you can see the sun.
That's not my point. Okay, that's not my point. So try and follow me. So you have the video, right, on a disc or whatever. You have a physical thing that contains the information of the video. Are you with me?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Is that not proof of that physical object existing?
An object is proof of the object.
Is it not? Did you not prove you have that? So you don't know if you have the disc or not.
You're being ridiculous. I have a video. The video exists.
Okay. And the video, you have a video. Now, have you proof? That's proof that you have a video, right? Because it's reality. Nobody can dispute that you have this physical thing, right?
Okay. No one can dispute that. Yeah. It's on a SIM card or whatever. Yeah.
Then it's proven. So it's proven. Yeah. Okay, great. You just proved something. Congratulations, Mr. Sensible. I walked you through it. So now we've proven that you have this thing. That's the proof. Now, you can take proof and try and make it evidence by watching it and drawing conclusions, but that won't change what it is. Proof of itself.
Proof of itself. I honestly think this is nonsense.
Okay, because you're not following. So you're trying. When you say evidence, evidence is a vague term, not specific. When I say you have proven that you have this physical disc with information on it, that is proof. That's not evidence of anything. It is proof that. Hold on. It is proof that you have a disc with information. Now, that physical thing that is itself cannot be evidence for something else. It's only the information of itself. So if you're trying to get more information from what it is, that's you just drawing conclusions. That's your evidence. So your evidence is your conclusions, and proof is the physical object that you are going to draw your conclusions from.
I think you're talking nonsense. What we have is a video. Nobody is denying that I'm aware of that we have the video.
So
you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. I could send you a memory card. But listen, that's nonsense. What is important is what is that data? What is that data? You said that hold on. He said evidence is a vague thing. No, evidence is a specific thing that's measurable.
Okay, can I pick up on that? Can I pick up on that evidence point, please? Mr. Sensible, would you say there is evidence of clouds in your Mage video?
Yes.
Would you also say that there is evidence that the clouds in your Mage video obstruct the view of the ground behind those clouds?
Yes.
So why on earth would you think you'd be able to see forever when there is evidence of clouds all the way through that Mage video?
Because the clouds themselves only appear up to a certain distance away.
Rubbish.
What do you mean rubbish?
They're there as far as you can see.
Yeah, and you can't.
And they obstruct everything the other side of those clouds. You cannot see anything apart from the tops of those clouds.
If the Earth was a flat plane or an infinite plane, then you would need more and more clouds approaching the vanishing point to hide stuff beyond it. There is a curved horizon. There is a
vanishing
horizon
point, Mr. Sensible.
But if it was a flat plane, it would continue up in effect at eye level.
That there is evidence that the clouds obstruct the view. So you have just said that there is no evidence of what you're claiming is an evidence for what you think is a proof.
Well, or think of it this way. When Mage is
I'm not thinking of it your way.
I'm addressing what you're saying. When Mage swings around, sometimes the view is angled downwards, and in some places you can see the ground. Other places you can't because it's hidden behind clouds.
Gaps in the clouds. There's always gaps in the clouds.
Yeah. At other points, it's hidden behind those clouds, which you're above. But as the mage sort of is calmer and more steady, you can see a point beyond which there is just the blackness of space above it, or the blackness of the sky above it. So why can you not see more and more and more clouds hiding whatever land there is there? You can't, because that is the edge of this.
Point. You are above
no, it's
the
not
clouds.
a vanishing point.
You're above the clouds, Mr. Sensible. The clouds, as you rightly say, obstruct whatever is on the ground, your vision, your view of whatever is on the ground. So all you have gathered is an evidence that clouds obstruct your view.
Okay. Do clouds obstruct radio waves?
Why are you diverting now?
No, I'm not. I'm staying bang on point. I'll explain why. I'm assuming you don't think that clouds obstruct radio waves. Now, when Mage was on the ground
did I
being
say
launched, no, but I'm addressing your same point with your clouds. Okay, when Mage was on the ground, the only listening
has radio
station.
waves got to do with your view of the ground from a height?
Because I'm going to show exactly what it has to do with
no,
that.
No, you said
no. Hold on, you don't want to hear it.
That there was an infinite. You should be able to see forever.
If it was
that was your exact words. You should be able to see forever. It was an evidence that you could see or you couldn't see forever, or however you phrased it.
I'm still addressing.
I've just walked you step by step,
and then didn't allow me to address
your
it.
Evidence doesn't actually hold as an evidence for anything.
Well, let me show you.
I'm not interested in your radio waves because you were talking about as far as you could see.
And this is bang on point.
It's not bang on point. You're just
you haven't heard it. You haven't heard it. I'm not diverting. You haven't heard it.
It's not going to be about vision, so it's not going to be on point. Address the vision.
Yes, it is.
Clouds
it's bang on point.
Waves. So if you bring up radio waves, you're diverting from vision and how your evidence of Mage is that clouds block vision. So you prove that you have evidence of clouds blocking vision. Don't go to radio waves. Address that point.
When you look at something, what is it? It's line of sight, isn't it? Radio waves. The radio waves are line of sight. When Mage was on the ground, it could only be picked up.
Why are you diverting?
No, you're just. I'm not diverting, and you're just not letting me answer.
You're diverting from vision to radio waves. Stay with vision. We're not going to.
It's clear you disagree. Let's everybody get their points out.
Go ahead, Mr. Sensible.
Okay, I'll be brief. When Mage was on the ground, the only listening station that could pick up its signal was the one at the point where we were launching. As it went higher, it could be picked up by listening stations further and further away until when it was at its maximum height, it could be picked up approximately 400 miles away. Now, that is the line of sight, because beyond that, the curve of the Earth was blocking the radio signals, just like it's blocking your view with the rays of light. See, it's staying bang on point. It's line of sight. When you look towards the horizon, you cannot see beyond it. When you broadcast towards the horizon, the signals won't be picked up beyond it. You see, it was exactly the same point. But I was making the point that it was not being blocked. Because it is not being blocked by clouds, it's being blocked by the Earth.
Got anything to do with how far you can see?
And how far you can listen.
Did you guys hear what he just said? He said it's not being blocked by the clouds, but rather by the Earth.
He said, clouds block my vision. but clouds aren't blocking the vision because radio waves. Bro, again, you don't see in radio waves, okay? So if the clouds are blocking our vision, then the clouds are blocking our vision. Has nothing to do with radio waves. Do you agree?
Clouds are blocking the light, so the argument that the clouds are stopping you seeing
light in radio waves. Do you mean?
What I'm saying is the argument was used against.
Do you mean the
Mage.
light in radio waves?
Vision. We said vision, not radio waves, not light. I said my vision. Okay, my vision is not light bulbs. My vision is not radio waves. It is my vision. So
your vision is rays of light hitting your eyes.
Again, my eyes see. Light is illumination. That is not the same thing. Okay.
Right, you're talking not. Nonsense.
No. Hang on. You're trying to explain to me the mechanism in which we see. And I'm saying we don't see the mechanism. We only see the end result, which is vision. So are you now going to tell me that you see the unseen process that allows us to see?
Your vision is rays of light bouncing off of objects and then hitting your eye. Right, the hand.
Which isn't radio waves.
But you don't see
no,
that.
which isn't radio waves. But with the radio waves, they are broadcast from a point and hit the receiver in the same direct line.
None of this has to do with the vision.
Do radio waves have the same scatter as light?
No. Don't even. He's equating light. He's equating light to vision. No. Light is not vision. They are two separate, different things. Because when he's
equating vision to radio waves, right? The hand.
Either way, bro, radio waves are not vision. Light is not vision. When it's dark and I open my eyes, the room does not illuminate. So light and vision are not connected, Mr. Sensible. So I'm going to ask you. Hang on. I'm going to ask you again. Hang on. I'm going to ask you again. Without bringing up what you believe or what you can't verify, right? Because we're working on the evidence. We have evidence. Your words, that we cannot see because of the clouds, right? We don't see photons. We don't see scattering. The only thing we have the evidence for is the clouds blocking our vision. Do you agree? Yes or no, please?
I don't agree that that's a well-formed question because, I mean, your point when you said when you open your eyes in a dark room, does it light up? Light doesn't come from your eyes. It enters your eyes after bouncing off of other objects.
You see it bounce. Do you see light bounce?
You don't see it bounce. You see a direct line from. You see a direct line of light from an. You see a direct line of light.
How do you know it's doing what it's doing? If you don't see it to get that information, how do you know it's doing what it's doing? Or are you just
denying light? Are you denying light? Rays of light.
This isn't what we do here.
I know.
This is miles away from what we do here.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid it's right the hand all over.
Hold on. Let me speak. So when you're saying we're going on the point, vision, clouds, evidence. Okay. Evidence, the clouds block the vision. Now, I'm not going to let you bring up light. I'm not going to let you bring up radio waves. Now, we are going to stick with this, that the clouds block your vision only. Only your vision. If you bring up light or radio
waves. What is provable in visuals, Sean?
Light is not visuals. Light is not your line of sight. When you look through the camera or when you get up in a hot air balloon and look, that is not
still looking. It proves nothing. You cannot prove anything with looking at shit.
You proved you see clouds.
Whoopee.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. So what we've proven is that we can see the clouds and the clouds block our vision. That is all we have. We don't have the mechanism of light. We don't have radio waves. We don't have photons bouncing.
As Mr. Sensible has freely admitted, there is different scatter between radio waves and what he calls light waves. So his equivocation fallacy between the radio waves and what we see has been outlined. So can we move on, please?
Well, it's not a fallacy. They're different things.
It is a fallacy. It's an equivocation fallacy. You're comparing one thing with something completely different.
I'm
the
not making
scatter is completely different. You've said that.
I agreed that light scatters differently than
To
radio, waves.
Thank
However, they are two independent evidences. They are two independent evidences that provide a limit.
What you see.
They don't. But what
Exactly.
my point is.
So you have an equivocation fallacy right there,
No,
Mr. Logic with
because
cheese.
I didn't say that they were equivalent, did I? I just said that they
No,
both
you are
evidence they both evidence the same thing.
Other.
No, I'm saying they both evidence the same. They both evidence the same thing, i.e., that there is a limit beyond which they won't travel. With the light, you can see so far, and then you'll see the horizon. But you have a horizon from the radio waves. You have a horizon with the radio waves.
And I told you because there's clouds in the way.
Okay. So, that's why I brought up radio, because the radio would not be stopped by clouds. So why can that also not go beyond 400 miles? Because there's no mountains or anything in the way.
Sorry. Why did you come? Is this what you came here for? Because I wasn't expecting this sort of heated. I asked you, would you be willing to do a Black Swan thing? And then you diverted into the mage, and now we're here having like a pretty heated argument. I mean, it sounds like you're defending something quite a lot, and we're just talking about looking at stuff.
Well, sorry, who's the guy? Is it if D then P? You the guy with the monkey icon? If D then P? No, I just don't want to get confused as to who's who. So we're just chatting.
I'm the one that's enjoyed making plenty of memes. If that's what you want to know.
I like the latest one. It shows my classical beauty because of all the symmetry. Thank you. But what I was going to say is
the one with the guy trying to measure an angle to your chrome dome.
That's the one. Yeah. But we're having a conversation. Unfortunately, right the hand is impossible to have a conversation with.
Well, okay.
No, don't put this on me, bro. You keep deflecting, trying to just.
That sort of stuff done. I mean, let's. Let's get some stuff sorted. I mean,
I'm certainly more than happy.
Right now, like
no, not right now. I'm certainly happy to debate people about Mage. The issue I have with Right the Hand is our history, isn't it? Right.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, right? Like, if you're so confident in Mage, right, and what it does, then you could open it up to all of the scrutiny, and that would just prove it superior.
You can have it on a debate night. How about that? That'll be the first debate on debate night. What a catch!
What's debate night?
I'm supposed to be promoting Nips, Bev.
Oh, sorry. Well, I know, but I mean, like, what would be better than that? Stand with
Sean. Stand with Sean. Yeah, absolutely. I'll fall on my sword for this one.
What's Nips? What's debate night?
Debate night. Sure. New debate night.
The new debate
place to do.
This place to be.
Debates.
Is it? I hadn't heard of it.
Have you not?
In the blue
Wow,
stream.
you surprise us. Well, let us introduce to you the new hot debate night, hosted by Sean Hawkins.
He won't be debating.
He's looking for debaters. We have all offered our services, but he seems to keep forgetting. So, I mean, if you are if we get a name as big as Mr. Sensible involved in it, I mean, whoa. And the mage, you get to talk about your mage thing as well, right? I mean, first debate night, surely bound to be promoted by every Globe Earth server, right? Everybody stands with Sean.
Well, I've just got.
For sure.
I've just gone to Sean's channel, which is now renamed as Debate Night. I wasn't even aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. When did that happen then?
Oh, he's been setting this up for about a month.
Okay.
I don't know. My time may be a bit off a bit. I'm not too sure, but it's been a bit.
Yeah, well, I have no problem debating with Sean. You know, on Sean's channel.
Mm-hmm. With Right the Hand.
Yeah, but did you notice when I first thought, hey, that sounds like Right the Hand? He didn't say yes, no. He just said, there's lots of people with this New York accent.
A lot of connotations come with, as soon as you put that name to him, then your mind changed about who you were talking to, right? You associate a lot to the name that you give people.
Well, you're going to go and have a look at the old history where basically he was taken apart as bitch made on my channel.
I wouldn't know any
Kicked
about
me out of your
that.
server, dude. You invited me. You asked me to debate. You asked me. I said, okay, fine. I went over to your server, right? I'm in your server. One of your mods kicks me out of your server before the debate. And I was like, yo, I just got kicked out of your server. Let's have the debate. At that time, I was in, I think it was 24/7 or one of these other channels. Like, let's have the debate over here since I was just kicked out of your server. And that's at that point, you just made no attempt to get the debate going, right? Then when I did show up, even after I got kicked out, showed up and you still didn't have the debate.
Yeah. And what had happened? You weren't kicked out. You were booted for 24 hours for I can't remember what. And my stream was still there. Hold on. I didn't speak over you. My stream was running. You had the invite. You were there for 15 minutes while a clock was running, saying, come on in. And as you didn't, I then played a video with a load of stuff about you, which shows what you were like.
I got banned from your server for posting a GIF.
Why would you invite somebody to have a debate in your server and then have them get kicked out? You know, that's just bad manners. That's just bad crap, dude.
You did something to a mod. You did something to a mod.
I blocked the mod.
So that's not appropriate, and you were warned, and you still.
Hang on. Then tell your mod to stop calling me names and start attacking me to the point where I have to block him, and I don't have to see what he says. And he was so wound up in his ego. And I was like, no, stop being a baby. Come back. You wouldn't. Not come back. You would say, no, that was fucked up that you asked me to debate and then somebody else booted me from the server. I'm not coming back to your server.
I've just got to say here, I've never kicked anybody from this server. So using me as an example, I've never done it.
Well, let me respond to that one more time then, right? You were booted for breaking the server rules. You were not banned from the debate. You were aware of the debate. Hold on. Let me finish. You were not blocked from the debate. You were in the side chat of the debate. Anyone can watch that video and see your comments. And I actually then started a 15-minute timer saying, come on in. Everyone was saying, come on in. You were not blocked, but you didn't. You ran away. You tried to set up. You ran away. You tried to set up another stream at the same time. Then you came back. Then the 15-minute time ran out, and so I played a bunch of information which showed what you were like. So yes, you were booted for breaking.
Either one of you got any evidence to support your claims? Please?
Yes.
His mod booted me because I blocked him, right? And then I said, okay,
evidence
if you
that would result in a proof, please.
Yeah, it was all just to not debate. That's his entire thing.
Like a fucking counseling session, guys.
Come on. I was thinking the same thing. I thought you guys were going to talk about destroying the Black Swan, and now we got all this drama and shit going on.
There's no drama as far as I'm concerned. The whole video is there, and you can see him.
Just fucking drop it.
Then we can debate on Sean's channel. So let's debate on Sean's channel. There's no your mods. There's no my mods.
Yeah, moving on.
Right. So you're so confident. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's good. Sure can we do a topic? Let's just sort a topic out, right? And then that's done. We can just get in touch with Sean.
For a debate with Sean, yeah.
On Mage, we'll do it. I say Mage proved nothing, right?
Okay.
You're going to say that Mage proved what it did, and we can debate the evidence.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. See, that's well worth doing. That's good stuff. What
That
about the
sounds good.
Black
Wow,
Swan
yeah.
stuff? Do you want to get onto that at some point as well?
Where and when are you talking about, Bev?
I don't know. Just get together and we'll do it like another chat, and we'll just go over all of the problems that we've got with the Black Swan.
Yeah, I think we can sort something with that.
Because it's coming about that it's like the number one. Is it what they say? Is it the globe killer?
Yeah, but how many number one globe killers are there apparently?
I know the sextant at the minute. That's a bit silly as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
the age of the sextant, isn't it?
Yeah. This is just an honest, open question because I have no idea where they've been putting forward the sextant and using it as an alleged globe Earth killer, Bev. What do you think about that? Do you think sextants can only work on a flat Earth, only work on a globe Earth? Doesn't matter.
You can measure.
And I'm not trying to get into an argument.
I'm not. There's no argument anywhere. Like I've said it right from the beginning. They tried to sell us this ages ago, and it's like you can measure an angle from anywhere, and that's what a sextant does.
So never mind about whatever. Okay.
It's just an angle measuring device. I mean, it can't do anything. You can't do an angle, and that's all you've got. You're just wandering around with a sextant with a
well, I mean, I suppose that's where we disagree. Yes, we agree that it just measures an angle, but it's what you do with that angle afterwards that's the question.
You can do fuck all with an angle. Are you going to counter that? Because that'd be a good one to go. I mean, but after the Black Swan, right? But we'd leave that angle thing.
I mean,
apart from the Black Swan, it's got nothing to do with it.
Does anyone understand Nathan Oakley's claim with regard to that, saying you can't measure the angle because you haven't got a curved adjacent? What do you think of that then, Bev?
Can't measure.
You need two straight lines.
No, that's just an angle.
What he's saying is, if you were on a globe Earth and used a sextant, you couldn't get an angle because the surface of the Earth would be curved, and you can't have a curved.
That's what he's saying. If you
that's exactly what he's saying, Bev. Yeah. No, that's exactly what he's saying. Because if you have a look at him, he says you can't measure an angle because you can't measure an angle on a globe because you can't measure an angle using a curved adjacent. That is his claim.
Who is this guy that can't shut up even when he asks a question? Who is this guy?
Mr. Sensible.
I think I've made my point. Oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Sensible.
I can't
try that mute button every now and then.
Okay, so the idea is that you can measure an angle, right?
Yes.
And when we say you can do fuck all with an angle, your counter is something that Nathan Oakley says.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I agree that a sextant measures an angle. That is all a sextant does. Okay. Having got an angle, the question then is what could you do with that? Now, I think you can then calculate your distance from a star's GP, but that's not what I'm talking about. So I agree.
It is because that's when we say you can do fuck all with an angle. You say you can actually do something with it.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's where we differ. And I don't think you want to get into that.
Well, not right now, maybe. No, that's fine. But I was just wondering, we're both agreeing you can get an angle with a sextant. Yeah. So I was wondering what you thought when Nathan is saying if the Earth was a sphere, then you couldn't get that angle because the surface of the Earth would have to be curved, and you can't get an angle from a curved surface. That's what Nathan is saying.
No, you can go up a mountain and measure an angle. Yep. You can go inside a cave and measure an angle. With an
artificial horizon, yeah?
Yeah,
He
The
doesn't
shape
get
of
it.
anything doesn't matter when you're measuring
Absolutely
angles.
agree
You're just
with
measuring
Bev.
angles.
Bev, I agree with you on that 100%.
Right. Well, that's as far as we need to go, because we always stay at the basics.
Would you say that's a logical conclusion, Sensible?
But what is a logical conclusion?
The agreement that you and Bev have just come to.
Well, we were just establishing, I just wanted to establish his position and his position with regard to a sextant measuring an angle, and it doesn't matter what you're stood on to measure that angle, we agree on.
And would you say you have reached a logical conclusion step by step?
Well, we haven't gone through step by step. It was just a question.
Yeah, it was just about the angle. But, I mean, at least it's an agreement on what an angle is, right?
Yeah, and I have no problem with agreeing with people, Bev, when I agree with them. I wouldn't say, if Nathan Oakley, for instance, said, well, of course you can measure an angle even if it was a sphere, I would agree with him. We would then disagree about whether it actually is a sphere, but I'm not stupid, and nor are you.
I think the disagreement will come when we say you can do fuck all with an angle.
Absolutely, yeah. That's where we'll disagree. Yeah. So, and that's cool.
That'd be an interesting debate.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's part of the thing where I don't know whether we got there at the beginning with SE. I don't know how far we got with the proof. Do you believe that there are proofs to be had, right? There are proofs that you can gain in reality.
There are facts that you can gain and use as evidence.
And proof?
That wasn't the question.
Well, no, that is my answer, though. Science doesn't deal in proof, does it?
Is that is that gone out as a memo to everyone?
Well, it's just the case, Bev, because, for instance, you think
but not
a theory
everything is science, right? So, is there proof?
Yeah, but then it's not science.
Believe there are proofs in reality.
There's proofs in maths, aren't there?
Right.
Sounds to me a bit like you're science denying, Mr. Sensible.
No, I'm not science denying.
Well, it holds no proofs, so.
No, you have a best explanation. You have a theory. So, for instance, I would say, let's say it was day one. I step outside. I might think, do you know what? The Earth looks flat. That would be a good initial theory.
This is about proof.
No, it's not proof. No, it's not proof. It's
I'm
I look out.
you about proof in reality. That's all. Like, do you believe they are possible to have? And can you disassociate some sort of a model and whatever bigotry you have for another group of people?
No, I'm not being
bigotry. The model affliction, then, at least, can you try and stop the model stuff and just say, in reality, because that's where we all live, do you believe there are proofs that you can gain?
Well, you think even in a court of law, you don't have proofs. You have evidence. You're found guilty or not guilty. You're never found innocent. There could still be some evidence. There could still be some evidence that changes the position.
The question was asked: can you gain proofs? Is there any way to gain proofs?
Do you personally believe there are proofs you can gain in reality?
Well, in the vernacular, you might. Say, walking up to my house, I meet my daughter, therefore it's proof I've got a daughter.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Proof.
But then that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about is the Earth this shape or that shape, that we have evidence
what you
supporting.
did there to find that proof and say that you could structure other things in that way? So that is what you could gain as a proof. Like, have you ever thought of that? The idea of how you would do that, or
well, actually,
I don't want to drop. These are some things that you have to think about for a while before you can actually come up with an idea of what we're talking about. And I don't want to drop it on you. asking you, do you, step one, do you believe they're possible?
He just did it.
Yeah.
He just did it when I asked him about himself. He just did it with his daughter. It's that simple.
But actually, it isn't, is it? That I said in the vernacular, if you're actually talking about proof, if I went up there and I met her and said, so that's proof I've got a daughter. Well, hold on. I saw her born, so it's proof she's the daughter of the mum. But I'd need a.
Oh, come on now! You're
no. No, he's right. He's right. He's like, pull it all the way back. Yeah. This is.
A paternity test. A paternity test, and if the paternity test shows that I'm the father, it's still however many odds, so many parts, chances in a million.
Okay, so you've worked your way around that can't be, that could not be a proof. I mean, no, that's logical. I mean, I'd go with that. But
thank you,
still, in
how
saying
can you prove
that,
the paternity test is 100% accurate.
In saying that,
who said
do
that?
you believe there is anything you could find a proof for? Right, as a challenge. Now you've proved that one isn't a proof to yourself. Do you think there would be something?
If you met your wife, you were to be locked in the room. With her for 1 year. You did a pregnancy test, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't pregnant. Right?
Yep.
Then you did your thing, right? And she became pregnant.
Yep.
After 9 months, beautiful daughter was born. Would you be then convinced that was your daughter? Would that be proof to you?
I would be convinced in that the evidence is so overwhelming that I could not think of any other possibility. But if you were being scientific, you'd have to say, well, perhaps there is some other possibility. But I couldn't think of one. So I'd guess that would be as close to a proof as I could get.
How about this
one?
That's
an interesting one.
Finally.
How about, or you could put it this way. How about you witnessed the daughter being born? Is that not proof that that's the mother of that child? There's no misconceptions about cheating and all this other shit.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Good one,
sorry.
Well, he just was cheering me on.
yeah. It was a good one. So the evidence, I can't think of a way that evidence could be overthrown. So the theory that she is the mother would be a rock solid theory. But it would still only be if you were talking scientifically, it would still only be a theory. You'd have to be open. You'd have to be open to the possibility of something else. But I damn well couldn't. No. Yes, you would.
Wait a second.
That's what you've been convinced. Sorry.
Can I just say something really quick? One of the things I've noticed when I've been listening to you talk a lot, Mr. Sensible, actually listening close. And one thing I noticed is when you're having a conversation with these guys and back and forth, they're trying to make points, and they're not bringing. One thing they're not doing is bringing up the word science or the shape of the earth, shape, and they're trying to make points outside of those arenas. But it seems like you're stuck in bringing up science or shape of the earth. Right now, we're just talking about proof and a mother and her daughter, and I notice that you continually want to bring it into, well, science says this or science says that. And I think that's where the frustration seems to be with the conversation between you and everybody else in here, is they just want to have a basic conversation, right?
Okay, well, thank you for that, Scalpel. No I think that, though, I'm very wary of things being clipped and being used elsewhere. I'm not accusing anyone of it, but I'm very wary of that. So if I said this proves this or this proves that then someone could turn around and say, well, Mage doesn't prove something. It might show that that's a possibility, but it doesn't prove something. So I don't, I'm not trying to deal in proof. I'm trying to answer the questions. And someone had jumped in. I had made an interesting point just a minute ago, and I can't remember what it was. So yeah, I mean, with science, you have something like, say, the theory of evolution or the theory of gravity or whatever, and all the evidence would appear to point to it. But scientists have to be open to the fact that there could be a counter evidence, and they'd have to either deal with it or it destroys the theory. So the theory,
you freely admit that Mage doesn't prove anything.
Yes.
Cool.
What?
I would say it's just very strong evidence for.
Something else that's interesting is you said scientists need to be open to other things, but when you have conversations in this arena, it doesn't appear that anybody that considers them scientific is very open to anything that's said on the other side of the aisle.
What level scientists are you talking about? I mean,
any level.
Can you give me an example? Just as
any conversation. Pick any conversation within this arena.
Yeah, the conversation about light. They'll say we know everything about light, like all that we need to know to prove this and that. There's no way, man. Even scientists say that's like 5 and 10% of what we know. We know 100% about 5 and 10% of this subject.
Yeah,
He's
it's
just
like
talking
when
about people in the sun.
Yeah, sorry, Ricky, I didn't mean to clip you. I guess he's done. It's just like when you watch a scientific, in quotation marks, what are they called, about space? A documentary about space or the beginning of time. They'll start off by saying, basically this is our best guess or whatever. But after that point, if you pay real close attention, after that point, they basically state everything as fact and non-negotiable.
Well, I would have to say, you're talking about a TV program or a documentary.
Threatening the model. Why'd you do it?
Yeah, but that's the thing you've done the same thing even today. Is you've said, we have to be open-minded. We can't prove anything, but you've also stated very clearly that when your whatever it's called goes up and the clouds are definitely blocking, or it's not the clouds that are blocking the radio signal, but rather it's the shape of the Earth. You said that earlier, basically without a doubt in your mind. But then now you're saying how scientists need to be open and it doesn't prove anything, right? You know what I mean? It just feels like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth at times.
Right. Well, let me try and rephrase that. I'm saying that there is evidence that at different heights the radio waves could travel further, and at the Mage's maximum height they could travel 400 miles. So that is an evidence that something is blocking it. So what could be the explanation? My explanation is the curve of the Earth. There could be something else, but I can't think what it is. And if the Earth was flat, then they wouldn't be blocked. So it's evidence against that.
See, there you just made that positive claim at the end that it's like you can't help yourself, where it doesn't prove anything for sure, and this is what I think, but definitely 100% this or not this, right? And that's what I'm talking about. On one hand, you talk about being open and it doesn't prove anything and there's possibilities, but when you're done with that talk, you also make this definite statement that 100% it can't be this. You see what I'm saying?
If you had an object above a flat plane, then I can't think of anything that would stop a radio wave from travelling across that plane. If it's over a sphere, then obviously the curve of the sphere would limit how far it could travel.
You're joking, right?
Just to be clear, I'm not debating you about
No, I know.
The Earth. I'm just simply talking about the rhetoric that.
Yes. I know exactly where you're coming from. So I provided that as an evidence. You could use that evidence, try to use it to support a flat conflict, but nobody has been able to.
Whatever you want to call it. Blocked. Jammed.
Well, yeah. You're probably going into a realm that's beyond
Don't tell
mine.
him where he's going. Just answer the
Just
question.
answer if you know or not.
Yeah, but I wish whoever that is wouldn't do it. I am trying to answer the question. What I'm saying is, you're probably going into the realm beyond my knowledge.
Somebody's giving you a globe Earth theory and then another theory, and one of you guys is about to defend the other theory that he's giving you.
No, I'm talking about frequency. No matter what the surface, what we know about frequency. Because you're saying you can't see any way over a flat plane. That flat plane could be on a sphere. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about shape. I'm talking about what you said. That you can't think of any reason.
And that evidence is irrefutable in that the signal couldn't be picked up at these greater distances until Mage was higher. That is an evidence. That is a fact. The question is, what conclusions do you draw from the fact?
What's the difference between fact and proof and evidence?
Well, an evidence is a measurement or an observation. We've taken an observation and we came up with distances that the radio waves could be seen. They then had line of sight to Mage. They could pick up the signal. That's not a proof of the shape of the Earth. It's just a fact. The fact was, when Mage was at 38.5 kilometres, there was a radio station at approximately 400 miles that could pick it up. That is a fact.
Have you heard of the ionosphere?
Yes, and signals can bounce. Yes. But in which case, I say, well, why couldn't they be picked up when it was lower? I mean, like I said, I'm open to it. I'm open to that evidence being trashed by someone, but someone would need to provide some not just come out with an idea such as okay, there's an idea, ionosphere, fine, but then we'd need to look into it. Would that work? Would that support? Would it be counter? I don't know.
Yeah, as long as you talk like that, I don't know, and there's no conclusive evidence. I did my thing and I saw that. That's fine. Yeah.
I came up with a number of evidences. And I'm open to them being debunked. And I mean, I put the full videos up for people to try and debunk me. A couple of people had a try, and to show that I am open to being corrected. As part of that, as well as the air pressure, there was a temperature sensor which showed how the temperature dropped and then rose again, and so on. And Brian's logic did a debunk. Half of it I was able to say he was wrong, but he spotted that the temperatures appear to be too high. And I looked into it, and they were too high. And I openly admitted that on the video. So it was either the sensor was not good enough quality, poorly calibrated, that sort of thing. But yeah, he had spotted that there was an issue with the sensor data regarding temperatures. And I quite freely admitted it on video.
And Rakia has just pointed out that there is an issue with your radio waves.
Okay.
At ground level, there is radio wave interference. As you get higher up, that radio wave interference clears. So now your evidence isn't as strong as you thought it was.
Maybe. All I know is, as I said, when it was at ground level, it could be picked up by the station that was right next to it because it was only a few yards away. But as we went up, you got a circle within which an increasing circle within which listening stations could pick it up, and as it went higher, that circle increased until it reached approximately 400 miles.
As we've established, the ground radio wave interference clears as you get higher.
Okay, so then the question would be is why does it change, let's say, between 20 and 25, 25, 30, 30, to 38 kilometres. That circle kept increasing at a steady pace. But I'll grant you that's an interesting
to look into, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
I have an idea on that. As your altitude increased, could it be? I'm just saying. Could it be that your line of sight also increased with that?
Yeah, that is my point. The line of sight increased. Therefore, there was a direct line of sight between the listening stations and Mage. When it was lower, just like if it was on the other side of a hill, you perhaps couldn't pick up the signal. When it gets higher, so it's above the hill, you had line of sight to it, so you could pick it up. But and that's fine when you're within a few hundred meters of the Earth. But as you get higher, there's nothing that's physically going to get in the way to block it that I'm aware of. And yet that circle of line of sight grew larger and larger.
Yeah,
guys,
you increased altitude. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I'm saying is, with regard to Mage, because that was a flat versus globe type project.
Again, a false equivocation.
Well, no, it was to go up and see if we could see the curve of the horizon. But as
hold on to that point. What kind of lens were you using?
A non-distorting. It was a 90-degree non-distorting lens. That just for the record, since we're talking about it, there were no fisheye lenses. There were two cameras with wide-angle lenses. One was just to look at the balloon, so it didn't matter. The other was pointing backwards just for the great view. The Mage lens, the Mage camera, was the one pointing forward with the two strings in front of it. That was a non-distorting lens. However, and as I picked apart in my video, there was some slight distortion. But the apparent curve that we imaged actually ran...
distorting lens with some slight distortion.
I'm glad he said that, because there is no such thing as a non-distorting lens. With
I think the closest...
And you can research this. With distance, every lens ever made has distortion as distance increases.
Right, so let me try and clarify that. When I say non-distorting lens, I mean it's not a wide-angle lens. It's a non-distorting lens. It's not a rectilinear lens, which has even less distortion. So there was a tiny bit of distortion, but when I did the conclusions at the end, we tried to image the horizon in three portions of the field of view: top, middle, and bottom. The top, any distortion, the barrel distortion that you get with any lens, would actually make it look more curvy. So I didn't actually count that one. We were aiming for a horizon across the middle where there's no to minimal distortion. That showed clear curvature. But then I also tried to get a horizon in the bottom where it would the distortion would tend to make it look flatter, or if it was a flat Earth, would make it even look concave, but we still had positive curvature. So I was open and took images in all three fields. Excuse me, guys, I do appreciate this chat. I'm going to have to draw it to an end now because I need to get on and grab something to eat. I have enjoyed it.
Can I just
yeah,
there is actually a proof there. You said you claimed that you had a lens and found there was distortion in that lens. So
right.
You've stated that it's a non-distorting lens, and then in the same sentence proven that it is a lens with distortion.
Well, as sorry, I didn't see who spoke before. As that previous chap said, you're always going to get some distortion. But if you took a fisheye lens, then you could.
Why let me make the claim that it's a non-distorting lens when you know that you get distortion with it?
When you have something like a fisheye lens, you're going to get wild distortion. That's how when you get those selfies that show an entire globe just literally between your feet.
Why are you avoiding my question?
I'm not. I'm answering it. When you get because the accusation is always used. Oh, when you see curvature, that's because you use a wide-angle lens, which is distorting. So I have not used. I have not used a wide-angle lens for the Mage experiment. I used what is colloquial.
That you used a non-distorting lens, and what then I used.
was a
Told us
lens
that
which
it
is
had
wide angle lens is non-distorting. They both have hideous distortion.
Said they were. Nobody here made that claim.
Yeah, but you're
You claimed that you had a
bickering
non-distorting lens.
You're
and
the
then
only person here that
stated that it gave you distortion.
I've never said I've used a lens that's non-distorting. You're the only person here that's done that.
Myself, yes, because whenever we see balloon footage, people just say, "Oh, it's a distorting wide-angle lens." So I've taken a non-wide-angle lens. I'm happy to use that term, a non-wide-angle. I mean, it doesn't matter. The point is the distortion which you
no,
get.
it doesn't matter because you've made all your videos and they've all been watched to the nth degree by whoever's going to watch them. So,
And you've told everybody this is a non-distortion lens on your videos, right? I would assume you did.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't watched it then?
No, I'm asking you, is that what you did? I'm assuming that's what you said in your videos because that's what you just told us here.
Well, in my video, I said that I said about the three cameras, the two wide angles which have distortion, and I made clear that they do, and a non-distorting 90-degree angle lens. And in the course of that video, when I was explaining how we can accentuate curvature by pushing squishing the image from left to right, I pointed out there was some minimal distortion. But the curve went but it doesn't actually matter because it distorted, which made the bottom string look as though it bowed downwards, but the curve of the earth was going the other way. So the distortion actually didn't come into it anyway. Oh, do you know what? Sorry, is it Rakia? Is that your name? I can't quite read what it says on it. Yeah, have a look at my Mage. Hold on, it's called Mage Final Results. What shape is the Earth? Have a look at that video and see what you think.
Is that where I'll see Earth curve through a lens at altitude?
Yes.
What altitude were you?
38.7 kilometers, I think it was.
124,000 feet.
124,000 through a lens. I can see Earth curve. Awesome. Yeah, can't wait.
Cool. And then if I don't know if you've got a channel, but if you've got a channel, if you want to do an attempted debunk on it, please go ahead and let me know so we can address it.
Debunk your Earth curve through a lens at 128,000 feet. Nah, I think I'll pass on that.
Is that because you agree that it would show curvature then?
Is that what you discern from that? Come on, man.
Well, no, I'm not discerning anything from it. I'm just asking you why. You said you pass on it. Why would you pass on it?
I think it's through a lens that has distortion from an altitude that wouldn't show the curve that you're showing anyway. I would assume if you're showing the normal curve that everyone shows at any altitude, 250 miles.
What he means by Earth curve.
It's amazing.
Ask him what he means by it.
Yeah, what's Earth curve? Are you talking about the what? Are you seeing the land curve, the water curve, the gas curve? What are you seeing? The sky?
Well, I suggest you have a look at the video, Rakia.
All right, thanks.
Can you answer the question, Sensible?
Well, you see the curved horizon.
And what do you mean by Earth curve?
Which is made of what?
Well, it's all three, isn't it? It's the land, the sea.
You say that the horizon's curved, therefore it cannot be parallel to the plane of the horizon.
Don't go there, Bev. I just knew you'd try and get back to that, Bev.
But it is logic, and
You
that's
mean
the
logic.
we're dealing with.
Hey, let's not forget we're supposed to be talking about the Black Swan here. Not talking about it, but you know what I mean. Getting together for it.
Someone's breaking up.
Yeah, I think it's
breaking up there, Mobius.
yeah. So when do you want to do it then, Sensible?
Do which? Do what?
With Bev about the Black Swan.
Well, I don't know. Bev, do you want to email me with some suggested dates?
Email? I don't do emails, sorry.
Don't you? Or DM me then?
On the on here, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you DM me, obviously I'll pick up the message.
In like a week or two, yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll destroy the Black Swan together. We'll say goodbye to it.
That's teamwork, that is. Both of you getting behind it to kick the Black Swan to the curb at last.
Right, so,
Excellent.
do you know what? I've had a big misunderstanding here, Bev. I've had a big misunderstanding. I thought you were going to defend the Black Swan.
No.
Oh, right. So this might be fun then.
Yeah, kick it to the curb, mate.
Defend the picture taken through a lens over the distance through the atmosphere. No, we would never do that, sir. That's why I'm not gonna really
misrepresentation
take
of a
any
logical argument, all of that shit. Yeah, we'll go over the lot.
Cool. All right then,
Kick it to
guys.
the curb, Sensible.
Guys,
Put it to
I've really enjoyed it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Catch up with you again some other time.
Later.
Cheers then, Bob. Bye.
Dang it. I had a question.
He probably wasn't going to
End it
answer.
on a good note. Yeah.
He probably wasn't going to answer your question anyway. He didn't answer many.
He was starting to get triggered there.
Yeah, he was pretty good on most questions, but some of them he totally avoided.
He didn't want to get into it with Bev, that's for sure. That he avoided it like the plague.
It's because he heard it completely wrong. He heard like him going against me with the logic of the Black Swan, right? He didn't click because he didn't hear it. He was so used to, that.
The
If there's any at the
confrontation.
minute, big topic, flat Earth logic. If there is any flat Earth logic, that shit. It's about time it went.
He's wrong. That's why. Now this collaboration, it's gonna be epic, bro. Let's not antagonize him until that happens.
He doesn't care. It's views. That's all he's
I'm
after.
saying it's gonna be. It's gonna cause a big
Oh,
story.
yeah.
I think anyway. Imagine Bev and Sensible bashing the Black Swan. Oh man.
That's the thing. Why can't it be like that anyhow? Why does there always have to be a division just based on a label? I tried talking to Numbnuts about that yesterday on his channel, and he didn't seem to get what I was saying.
Because people say I took a long distance.
If you enjoyed the content, please support On the Level and future projects. Membership subscriptions available now, or come and get involved at Next Level Discord server. Thank you.